Hello, hello. Welcome to a bit different of a stream. It's not gonna be the big G gaming, but we are gonna be grinding. I see Riser, Shinia. Nice to you too, brother. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for coming. So, let me switch over to my impromptu setup. Hey, hello. You can see my hands, you can see my face, and we're gonna be learning with this, which is drawbox.com. So this is a free resource that focuses on art fundamentals, and I've been meaning to draw for quite a while. I do 3D stuff and stuff, but it's always something I've always wanted to learn, like traditional 2D. I think it's a nice compliment, and so hey, at the end of the day, it's 7 p.m. for me. Maybe I could grind a little bit. Ideally, this will be a nice chill stream. We listen to some tunes and we grind it out. Sounds so weird to say. We grind it out. As Jerma said, when in doubt, radish it out. Hey, it's the Doom Prophet. Are you doing your drawing portrait or landscape? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Most artists will never show you their first drawing. Streaming it is ballsy. To be absolutely honest with you, I have tried before. I've taken some Bronco courses. I've done a little bit of legwork. So, like, most of all, I've done some anatomy work, like gesture and stuff. You can see it here. I'm not a complete beginner, but I'm not good. You can see some booty in here, some some cheeks. And some anatomy exercises in here that wait, this is upside down. Oh my god. There we go. Very... You can see the definition of the muscles, but the back is kinda deformed. So yeah. Not an absolute beginner, but definitely not experienced per se. This is one of the more advanced drawings I did in the Proco Anatomy course. And it's like, on my own, hands-free. Excuse me, hands-free. Now, there's no way I can do that so defined. But I'm gonna show you a horse. I have no shame in showing you my ugly first drawings if I find them. When I did a couple of years ago. Yeah. There's a very, very silly Hunts that's... Okay, this is a cougar that's got an extra chromosome. Check it out. By the way, the song is Waterworld. As you can see, he doesn't look like the healthiest cougar. And now this is... Oh, look at this cat. He looks constipated. He looks quite constipated. I got a few ugly drawings like that. And if I'm being honest, I'm hoping I'm gonna produce more. Swaggy cat. Yeah. You take the good with the bad. The whole point is to enjoy it, right? It's a process. It's a process. But yeah. I like honesty and being completely honest. It's not like, oh guys, I'm a complete beginner. No. I tried my hand at 3D art. I tried my hand at 2D art. So, we're not coming in fresh from zero. And I will say, before we officially start... Oh, wait. You're not listening to the music. I will say that nobody starts from absolute zero. Like, You surely, maybe you drew, you scribbled as a kid. If you did sports, you have like some nice proprioception, and you're able to like imagine in your head, like feel some of the poses. Like, music slightly too loud, someone said. Okay, thanks. So I do not believe that people start from absolute zero, unless you're like the Nugget from Baki Nugget meme. Unless you're like this guy. There we go. Unless you're this guy, nobody starts from zero. Such a dumb thing. Okay, so I'm gonna shut down Waterworld as the music we've been listening to, and I'm gonna show you guys this The Moonlight Saga by Lost Cascades, which is a very, very nice album. If we're gonna grind music, we gotta put some good tunes, so this is my choice. Feel free to recommend something. I'm not gonna mind too much like the we're beating the robot menace, hell yeah. Quick audio check. Okay, sounds good. So I'm not gonna mind too much like is copyrighted music, like preferably background music, but I'm open to suggestions. Even if you haven't drawn since the first grade, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, this music's a bit different than I remembered. A little bit intense. Okay, hyper focus music. Now let's start. So, okay, beginnings. Start your journey today with Drawbox.com. Anyone can learn to draw. It's not some magical talent a few people are born with. It's a skill you can train, and we can help. Who's we? Drawbox is a set of free exercise-based lessons that focus on fundamentals, the skills you need to make sense of all the other resources and tutorials out there. First, we focus on the basic mechanics of mark making, how to use your arm. By the end, we develop a strong understanding of form, 3D space, and construction. I won't lie to you, our approach is tough, and it involves a lot of hard work. It is also structured and gives you a clear path with concise explanations and assignments you can completely submit for review. You can read more about Drawbox and how it came about here. We don't care about that, no backstories today. Or you can join the community of thousands of beginners and professionals alike and get started. I think this was not the album. I mean, it's cool, but I was thinking something a little bit less noisy, so let's see, maybe it was the Crystal Sun. These albums are pretty cool. They're like video game music for games that do not exist. Very obviously inspired by Secret of Mana, as you can see by the image. This is before AI generation, so nobody give me none of that shit. Main menu. Okay. So, Drawbox. Here we can see people submitting their homework. Basically, if you subscribe to the Patreon, you get a couple of credits, and that's how they make money. They review your homework and say like, "Hey, you suck!" And you're like, "Yay, Bonsai, do you know that?" So, without much further ado, let's get started into the meat and potatoes. Audio check. Okay. All things start at the beginning. Lesson 0 contains 4 pages and goes over everything you need to know about what this course is, does and does not teach, how we recommend going through it as to get the most out of it, and the various methods, cheap and free, that you can use to get feedback on your work. This particular page focuses on what the course covers, so you can better understand whether Drawbox is a good choice for what you're looking to learn. Read through the material and watch any videos as they come up, like the one directly beneath this, with the grayed out thumbnail featuring a play icon on top. Although watching the videos or only doing the reading will cause you to miss information, and will make it less likely that you will fully absorb the information you encounter. So I will say that I did my homework, a little bit of homework, and Drawbox mostly is course preoccupied with construction and perspective, right? So we're gonna begin with very simple mark making. They ask for you, if possible, to get a fine liner. This Staedtler 0.5 millimeters is what's recommended. You can get some of the Japanese ones, but for the beginning projects, I think just a simple pen or pencil is just fine. It's about like, oh yeah, this is your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder. This is how you use them to like make nice, confident lines. So it's gonna start from the very itty tiny beginning, and then get all the way up to lesson 7, applying construction to vehicles. As you can see by the tank and by the drawings and stuff, it gets quite in depth, right? But that's enough preface. Let's Bucky Nugget meme. He's gonna be our guardian for the night. The Bucky Nugget. Roadmap. What is Drawbox? Okay. Let's go through it slowly. Let's enjoy the process. The humble number 2 pencil be like. So before we get into all of this, as you see below, there's a lot of text and videos. If you want to get the general breakdown on how the course as a whole works, the purpose of each lesson and challenge in the grand scheme of things, you can check out this roadmap we put together. To be fair, it also has a lot of words, but you're not going to get away from that here. Alas, I have my flaws, and one of those is that I am anything but succinct. And the material we're covering isn't easily summarized in a way that works for everyone. Reading this roadmap is by no means required, and since at least now there's no option to have it read to you, he is not succinct. That may be an issue for some students. You can feel free to skip to the next section below. It can, however, be a good way to see what you're getting into. Yeah, no. Let's go next. Changing your mindset. Step 1, the mindset, bro. Okay. Play is not inherently fun. The Dwarf Fortress player, I see. So this page explores a very common problem among students. A focus on short-term benefits, having a drawing you're working on right now turn out well, which simply does not matter for a beginner. And the long-term benefits of being bold, willing to explore and experiment, and discovering all there is to enjoy about drawing aside from obsessing over the end result. When going through this material, remember, play and fun are not the same thing. Play can be fun, but only when you allow it to be. And that is an ability most students have lost and must go through a frustrating process of developing again. As many students are confused by this and how it applies to a 50% rule we introduced below, this page also features FAQ. Okay. The hardest thing you'll ever do. All of you are here because of one central desire. You wanna get better at art. As such, your focus falls squarely on one thing, your drawings. But your drawings are just one part of what it means to draw. They're just the end result, and while now to you that's the most important, I propose an alternate way. The end result is getting in your way. Our entirely natural obsession with drawing things that look good, to impress ourselves, to impress those around us, and to impress people on the other side of the planet whom you've never met, is what, above all else, what holds us back. It stresses us out and puts us into a state of creative paralysis. It pushes us to focus on nothing but practice, on training, on exercises, and leaves us drained. And worst of all, it makes us fear doing precisely the things for which we are learning those skills. I am absolutely guilty of this. And I'm doing it right now every day when I head over to Colosso.com and I'm like, oh, I'm training my 3D art. And I mean, training is important. But if you look at my productivity on YouTube, it's not stellar. Because every day I'm thinking, oh yeah, how could I do this better? How can I make something more impressive or whatever? And it's like going up to the mountains to train and try to attain perfection. It's not the most efficient way of doing things, probably. You can get better by doing the thing you want to do. Definitely. No, like, you're never gonna be realized unless you do the thing you wanna do. So, sometimes, because of my perfectionism, I do get stuck on tutorial hell. Though I do enjoy certain aspects of like training and grinding, right? Okay, so, oh, if I had a nickel for every student who declared, I can draw that. It's such a common statement, but what it really means is, I can draw that well right now. So what reason do I have to try? Or more poignantly, to try would be a waste of time. Involved. Oh shit. And for this I blame traditional academics. School makes us terrified of failure and declares success as the only useful result. But I think differently. It's about balance. If there is one thing you take away from the video above and the rest of the material on this page, it is this. Don't just spend your time studying. Not everything has to contribute specifically and obviously towards improving your skills in order to be worthwhile and beneficial. Your technical skills are not the only thing that matter. Traditional academics are to blame. They teach us to value grades, results, and that anything that does not produce those results is a waste of time. They do this not because it's an efficient strategy to help students learn. They do it because their goal is to push as many students through a factory production line as possible. They do not have the time nor the resources to make students the best they can be. And it's not their fault either. There's just so many students that they have to force through. By taking the time to draw just for the hell of it, that is, not to make something cool or to show off, not to learn something, not to improve a skill, not to impress your parents, but just to draw, two things will happen. First, and for a while, you'll experience frustration. It won't be fun. As trying to do something and showing yourself that you're capable of, it rarely is. Fucking, my life is like a video game in the background. Over time, you'll find that frustration decreasing and your willingness to try things that will inevitably result in failure will increase. You'll be more willing to take risks, to experiment, and to explore. Nice. Yeah. It does hurt. Another thing I want to add, personally, about perfectionism is that you can spend an inordinate, an unholy amount of time building this pie in the sky, this big thing, and like just release it, and it's gonna be like, maybe somebody's gonna say like, it's nice or whatever. And because you've been grinding for ages, you'll be met with disappointment. And the thing is, one, everything is worth something, but there's also a value to just trying things out and not caring if they fail. You're more bound to strike gold that way, to learn something, and to even enjoy the process when you have that detachment. I think the videos that I've made that I've most enjoyed are videos about topics that I didn't really care that much at all. Like the Princess Maker 2 and the Disillusion video. I mean, I do care about Disillusion, but I said like, I'm gonna do it in a month. And that's how the whole sandwich thing came out to be. And the Princess Maker 2 video, that whole video is like super tongue-in-cheek. And of course, I was doing my editing shtick and everything. But it's like, nobody's gonna take it seriously. And it probably is the video that I had the most fun making, because it was like, yeah, I'm not actually reviewing the game, I'm just like saying dumb shit. So maybe that's a lesson I should have learned earlier, and I should have in mind more. Because I'm on a quest, I wanna make something beautiful. And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna make something beautiful. It's like, if I do it enough time, and for a long enough time, it might happen. But I'm not gonna like, I cannot force it. Much like I cannot put a gun into your head and be like, watch my videos and like them. I cannot threaten you to like something. I cannot, like, in your heart of hearts, if you don't like it, no matter what the external circumstances are, you're not gonna like it. What's that Give Me All Your Love song from that video from? It's from The World Ends With You. Quick aside, The World Ends With You DS. This game, very cool game. Let me get the box, just to show off. Okay, I couldn't find the box because I think I bought it from like GameStop as a used game. But here you go. I'm gonna change the scene a little bit. You see the cartridge? That's right, I'm an OG. I am old, my knees are creaking. This game, it's so good. It's so good. Good evening, big guy. Hey, it's Ashley Riot. This guy makes videos about PC98 games, and I'm sure some of you will enjoy them, so you can check him out. And I'm gonna go back, put this little piece of retro gaming. I'm sorry to say, the DS is retro now. It's been a couple of decades already. Oh my god, the hair. And we're gonna get drawing, right? I could show like my retro game collection. I also got like WarioWare. I got a Game Boy Color, bro, and it still works. I got a Game Boy Color. I know some people who seethe and mauled if you call anything past N64 and PS1 retro. Yeah, the passage of time gets us all. The inevitable passage of time. PS3 is retro now. I hate it, but it's true. I hate it. Yeah, the brown. We're gonna get brown, yellow, bile, Mexico filter nostalgia, dude. The 3DS is retro to me now. Oh, yeah, it's getting there. Kid Icarus Uprising. Fuck you, Shigeo Miyamoto. I need a sequel. That game was so good. Anyways, we're supposed to be learning about drawing. I mean, we can have a conversation about video games. We're video game guys, right? Okay, so the 50% rule, which we introduced in the video above and explain further in the material below, is not about having fun. It's about making drawing something you can eventually enjoy. That is, in spite of the damage traditional academics does to us all, we can achieve that through balance. Wow. Developing your ideas. Something most of you have probably thought or said aloud is, I don't know what to draw. or I don't have any ideas. While this is undoubtedly how it feels, I guarantee you that the likelihood you have no ideas floating around your head is pretty slim. Ideas are a dime a dozen, but the kind of ideas I'm talking here aren't fleshed out or developed. They're vague and undefined. They are so insubstantial that we regard them as nothing at all, a rounding error. After all, if it's just 1/10 of a useful idea, then that's not too far from zero. But that's where all ideas begin. What we need to know is how to actually explore them, to develop them, to take them from a fraction of a whisper of an idea to something you can actually work with. For that, I leverage what I call the what if strategy, which I talk in this video I produced for the Proco YouTube channel. I see big chat, like when I was a kid I knew my parents had a worse tech than I did in the 2000s, and it's tech, and the tech feels quaint to me today, but it feels like tech has peaked at like 2013. Yeah, like minimalist design has taken so much soul from the everyday use of things. Like, it happens in everything, that it becomes so functional and so to the point that it's like boring. It's lifeless. You can see it in sports that it becomes all about data science and science-based lifting and the most efficient way of batting. No, I mean, I'd say baseball has become, it's a bit of a statistics sport, and it's kind of boring to watch. Though I know people will get angry because the Japanese right now are on fire, the LA Dodgers and Ohtani and all that stuff. But it's a game about numbers. It's like the batter has a 30% probability of yada. The pitcher pitches at 110 miles per hour and dislocates his goddamn elbow while pitching. I don't know, I'm yapping. Tech, honest to God, is just not interesting. Apple hasn't released anything revolutionary in any way in a decade. What do you mean, bro? Don't you wanna be like, have your like Chrome Dome Apple Vision and click a button and people see like an AI representation of your face, an uncanny AI representation of your face looking back at them? I also think that was the last time before we hit investor-based innovation, as in people with money pushing things that they think will be the next big thing, while not thinking about what it does, just the potential of making them money. I think you see that a lot in movies. Like before, you still have weird movies every now and then. I'm not gonna be like a super negative Nancy about this. You do see like, what was Everything Everywhere All at Once? That was a weird movie, I'll give it that. It was a fun movie. But with the how investors operate right now, it's like, bro, just make Spider-Man 7, just make Star Wars 9, the extended universe bullshit. Money flows where money is safely made. In the end, like, business is gonna be business and art is gonna be art. The business of art, that's another thing entirely. But yeah, I think that in the 90s, investors were less risk averse to making like new upcoming films. Okay, let's keep reading because we haven't drawn anything yet. Okay, drawing prompts. For those of you who are struggling to come up with blah blah blah, that's fine. Failure is a beginner's job. As mentioned above, traditional academics all the way from kindergarten to college and university really do a number on us. It makes sense, they're trying to push so many students through a system, and so grades, assignments and tests that focus on memorization make sense. But that doesn't mean that they are the best approach, and they are certainly not the most effective when it comes to learning how to draw. Why? It's actually quite simple. It is through making mistakes that we learn. No mistakes, no learning. Doing something correctly the first time never taught anyone anything. It was by messing it up, by reflecting upon those failures, ideally with the help of someone more experienced, and addressing them that we develop through understanding. Your job as a beginner is to fail, and to fail a lot. But many of you will find that to be a painful, frustrating thing. And so you'll try to avoid it. In so doing, you'll avoid taking risks, avoid pushing your boundaries. You'll avoid all of the things that you must do in order to grow. I'm not ready to draw that. This is an extremely common statement I hear from students whenever we ask them to draw just for the hell of it. It usually goes something like this. I don't know what to draw. Well, what would you draw if you had all the skills in the world? I would draw X, but I'm not ready to draw that now. Beginners in that, they are exactly that. Beginners don't have any understanding or the wealth of concepts involved in drawing, nor should they. But they are frequently quick and declarative in insisting that they can do something, or that they simply aren't ready. Here's the thing. When you say or think that, what you really mean is, I am not ready to draw this in a way that I won't find embarrassing because I am going to fail. And that is exactly the point. Here you will find some drawings of cars from when I was younger. I was ready to draw them, and so are you. Okay, I think it's time to draw. Well, that's a lot of motivation. I'm pumped up. Let's I recently read Fire Punch, and man, that's a good manga. I'm not gonna draw Fire Punch. I wanna draw Chainsaw Man, but instead of having chainsaws, let's see. This is the classic. Yeah. Okay, instead of having chainsaws, I'm gonna expand this. Oh, open image in a new window. Nah, I don't wanna buy the comic. There we go. I'm gonna take this as reference. It's gonna be Chainsaw Man, but instead of chainsaws, he has like doner kebabs. We're not gonna look at reference. I'm just gonna like go and draw it. So let's see. It's gonna suck probably, but if it's fun, it's fun. Right. So let's start with the head. That's sort of a head, and he has like. This is a very nice pen, I gotta say. The handle from where you grab the chainsaw. It's got a bit of volume. There we go. There we go. Oh, we're drawing a person. I mean, just to start drawing because we've been yapping. Working in pen, no mistakes allowed. We shall learn to enjoy the mistakes. Now we have the helmet. Maybe I should so you guys can see the reference. I should add the browser window in here. Well, for now it's just gonna be like this, I guess. By the way, I do hope you're enjoying the music. Oh, this is upside down! That's not gonna make any sense. Let me fix that real quick. Transform, flip, vertical. Crutch camera, what? No. That's... There we go. And now we're gonna have to transform, flip it horizontally. And now, yeah, now we have our kebab man. That's... I'm gonna make him smaller. This is just for you guys, reference. The hand. Oh, hand reveal. I look yellow, I got jaundice. So we're gonna make kebab man. Okay. He's got a sajando. He's got like a little, I don't know what this is. a little thing coming out of here, like an exhaust with I guess it's another handle. There we go. Let's add some volume to this. Okay. I'm not gonna go like super intense on the detail, though. A thing I appreciate about looking at reference and making it be 3D art or 2D art, it's appreciating the details when you're trying to replicate them. Like, I hadn't ever noticed the belt connecting the head and the jaw in Chainsaw Man, like the mechanical belt. That's cool as fuck, bro. Okay, let's make the jaw. So if this is sort of like a face, and let's not think too much about it. After all, we're just fucking around, aren't we? The chin, and there we go. Let's add the spiky teeth. Denny's spiky teeth. Okay. This would be the belt connecting the jaw from here to here. And the helmet surrounds. That guy, like, sort of like this. It's gonna be hard to accurately. Okay, so this is where we start, where the difference start to pile in, right? This is not Chainsaw Man, this is Doner Kebab Man. So we're gonna make the it's not gonna be a chainsaw. And then we have like this nice cone of yummy meat. Delicious. More teeth. Should I zoom in? Are you guys able to see what's going on? I think I should zoom in. This is way too small for that should be right. Nope. It's a bit blurry though. That where we post drawing? Practice in the Discord server. I'm gonna open the Discord. Here we go, practice. Yeah, when I made this channel, that's what I had in mind, doing like this, right? Yeah, it should be in practice in here. Okay. Let's finish this quick. Let's make the arms and then skedaddle, I guess. Wait, what? Yeah. Music. Stroke music. Let's see. Let's change the tunes for Yumetuki sleep, work, and studying, and etc. Cool. Okay, let's not spend that much time fooling around. Gonna make the ugliest color known to man. A Winston tie, I guess. The classic Yumetuki mix. Utilized it many times. Okay, we got the forearm here. And like kind of malformed bicep arm slash arm. Another forearm, and with it should be a bit longer. I'm rushing it by now. I'm rushing it. Delicious doner kebab. I am doner ma'am. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's make the doner. I did not think about this. I was so concerned with making the joke that I did not think about the logistics of replacing the chainsaws with a doner kebab. Let's just make yeah, and it's just like a bunch of yummy meat. Absolutely delicious. He will never go hungry because he has the doner kebab with him at all times. Upload, I think about the wrong Chainsaw Man DVD. If the good doctor can get the Turkish doctor, then so can Chainsaw Man. So true, so true. Well, let's finish it by drawing the legs. Oh my god, there's gonna be some fat shoes. The shoes look like a frog. That's kinda cute. Let's add some platforms. Let's give Denji some much needed 5 centimeters of height. Nice way it's lacking the whole thingamajig. It's fine. I feel like a kid not paying attention during class. Clearly I need to sleep, so I call it a night here. Y'all have fun, see ya. Thanks, Riser. Thanks for coming on and hanging. And then it's just the splatter. So clearly we have something of comparable quality. By the way, Riser, if you update your game, you make a sequel. I wanna know your movements, man. I wanna know if you're gonna keep participating on the game development scene. Because your first game, I gotta say, was pretty good. Okay, first drawing. We'll have to make Kebab Man again after Drawbox and see how good we get. So, I'm gonna kiss it. Mwah. Love you, Kebab Man. And we're gonna move back and keep on reading. Okay. The control muscle. If the mental block tells you that you're not ready, refuses to budge by sheer force of will alone, then start small. Think of it like you're exercising the muscle that represents your willpower, or your control over yourself and the choices you make. Right now, it's smaller, and fears of not being good enough to try something you're interested in may be overwhelming. Gradually, this will strengthen that muscle, and you'll be able to exert more control over the choices you make. Starting small can be as simple as doodling abstract and arbitrary shapes or patterns on the page. From there, you can start drawing simple representational things, silly little cartoons, nothing serious, nothing ambitious. And from there, you can start pushing into subject matter that may be a little daunting, because as you put time and effort into this, the barriers you put in front of yourself will get smaller, and they'll even start to move when you push on them. Don't be complacent, however. Always push against those boundaries. If doodling is easy, then try to push yourself up to the next stage, always keeping in mind and aiming for the things you want your future self to produce. So have fun, but not too much fun. 50% rule. 50% of your time in training, basically, courses, exercises, yada yada. And 50% drawing for the sake of it. Okay, the 50% rule is simple. What is this Yumeniki music? Very polite music, very low-key. Okay. At most, half of your time spent drawing can be used for studying, and that includes Drawbox, homework assignments, work from other courses, as well as self-driven studies or exercises. Yes, and half of your time, play, exploration, pushing boundaries. As explained above, many of you will not find this enjoyable. The intent is not to have fun, the intent is to develop your capacity to enjoy things that don't result in something that looks nice, or that otherwise helps develop your technical skills. So just drawing for the sake of drawing and experimenting. Got it. Additionally, remember that the spirit of the rule is all about balance. Balancing the time you spend studying with the time you spend exploring and playing. Do not worry about the specifics of, do I count the time I spend reading, watching the material towards my studies? Doesn't really matter. This isn't something you need to use a timer for or track with any real diligence. Studying is addictive. It feels productive, it feels like you're using your time well, and it makes anything else feel like a waste. Sticking to the 50% rules means making the continuous choice every day to fight against that. This is a rule, meaning if you wish to follow this course as intended, you must make every effort to hold to the spirit of it. That also means that that's the why of it all don't really matter. But we do get further into that in the video at the top of this page. The FAQ. Always in pen? No. Can I use reference like everything else? If the motivation behind it, basically, don't be afraid of just drawing. Combine diligent study with diligent experimentation and play. I get it. These are really a lot of words. Okay, depression and learning art. As the 50% rule relates heavily to mental health, I would be remiss to not take a moment to talk about depression. A lot of people out there will really struggle with the idea of doing something only to fail. As I mentioned already, many of us have been taught that our value as an individual is inextricably tied to our ability to succeed. To the point where forcing yourself to fail, as this curse will have you do quite a bit, can actively trigger depressive episodes. It gets that much worse when you consider how many people actively try and use art as therapy. Not as a part of a larger regimen under the guidance of a professional, but as their singular self-prescribed solution, and unfortunately it can make things worse. For those of you in that situation, I strongly urge you to seek whatever professional support you can. Therapy without trained professional isn't about changing who you are or fixing yourself, rather, it's giving the tools you need to better manage and understand your emotions. So that when you're faced with a bad drawing, you can understand, not just on a logical level, but deep within you, that this does not in any way suggest that yours are bad. So don't be afraid to step away from this curse. This curse! The witch's curse! I cast small penis. And seek out that help. Coerce. Other resources. Myself overcoming the fear of the blank page. Steven Zapata on personal versus impersonal satisfaction in art. Sia Mystery, there are 3 artists inside you. Play, study, and performance. Okay. That's fair. Let's not daddle too much. Getting the best of Drawbox. Follow the instructions to the letter. Complete only the work that is assigned as it is assigned and do not deviate in any way from what is asked. Basically, yes sir, yes. We do not expect your work to be perfect or even good. Rather, you have but one responsibility: to give yourself enough time to apply the lesson material and follow the instructions to the best of your current ability. Community feedback versus critique. There are a few major distinctions between the two main categories of student feedback. Community feedback is free. Official critique is paid. Students start at lesson 1. Pen and paper, fine liner. I'm speed reading right now. All submissions for official critique must be complete. There is a 2-week cooldown between submissions. If you were to submit your homework today and had marked as complete, you will not be able to submit your next lesson or challenge until 14 days have passed. This is not a deadline, and most of the lessons will probably take more than 14 days to complete. Okay. Modifications to our instructions are not permitted. So you get the most out of the course, and also to not overwhelm staff. It is the student's responsibility that they give themselves as much time as they require to go through the instructions and apply them in order to do the work to the best of their current ability. Not perfect work or even good work, just make sure you're giving it your all, not rushing, not setting arbitrary deadlines, etc., etc. If you want official critique, you can sign up via Patreon. Let's listen to Ridge Racer. I'm gonna add the unhook. Yeah. Ridge Racer for OST. No recommendations. No doxing of what anime girls I watch. Just pure vibes. Each grade expires 2 months after you receive it and goes towards subsidizing the cost of critiques for everyone. Cool. So, you've reached the point of blah 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 blah. Yep, you mark a lesson as complete. But now, are we done with those exercises forever? Ha, as if you'd be so lucky. No, those exercises aren't going away anytime soon. Whenever we complete a lesson or challenge, the exercises from that lesson go into a pool of warm-up exercises. And at the beginning of each sitting, we randomly pick 2 or 3 of those exercises for 10 to 15 minutes. This allows us to continue sharpening those skills and helps us keep them sharp as we continue to move forwards. Okay. It's a very athletic-like approach, apparently. According to the main page. It's like, more than academic, we approach this like as an athlete. You warm up, you do your training, right? You build the muscle. Warm-ups are incredibly important to the point that if you decide you're going to take a break from Drawbox, you should still try to keep up with your warm-ups. 10 to 15 minutes a day, or every other day, etc. It's not too much, and keeps you from getting rusty. Cool beans. Recommended tools: fine liner, paper, Y-ink. In summary, learning is not about being fast, which we are being right now. Hey, my friendly neighbor, he posted an emoji about the weird ass, very colorful YouTube emojis. They're drinking a lot of coffee. They're gonna have like, what's it called? Tachycardia. Reminded me to drink water though. I've got Eurobits playing very quietly. Nice, Mr. Hina Strike. Okay, so basically, speed explanation. They wanna force us. I've read this before. Don't worry. They wanna force us to make confident, smooth lines, and we gotta deal with like think, aim, and shoot, and not be like, oh, the eraser, Control C. Draw hot anime girl. Yes, my master. Hot anime girl incoming. Wait, no. It's gonna have the Ugu eyes. Ah, shit. No, this is like, this is a Westoid cartoon. I have already failed. There you go. Incredible. Look at her stare into your soul. Interval O2 hot anime girl. So this is just starting, okay? This is just getting started. It's gonna be a bit slow. Looks like your girlfriend. Hell yeah. Ain't she beautiful? The face reminds me of Making Friends deep cut. Making Friends? What is that, a game? Okay, fine liners, 05. Keep an eye on the nibs. Yeah, don't like stab the page. These things aren't exactly the cheapest, not that expensive, but not exactly the cheapest. Making Friends was a really obscure show on Nickelodeon that aired for a very short time. She's got the creepy eyes. Making Friends. Nickelodeon. Well, yeah, indeed. It's yeah, I can see why. Making Friends. Okay. Let's make Lum left right. Lum from Yurusei Yatsura. Okay, that's an anime woman. That's an anime woman. That's a real woman. We don't want that. Let's try our best to replicate it somehow. Making Friends. Okay, this is gonna be a speed drawing because we still haven't gotten into the meat and potatoes. Okay, so forehead, big ass forehead. Soft cheeks. Oh no, it's starting to look like Sans immediately. Oh shit. Oh no. Okay, we can try again. Immediately. Fucking Sans Undertale. Okay, let me see. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, so we got a basic head shape. She's got the pointy ears. Yeah. The bangs. Let's see. Oh, kinda lost the spikiness. There we go. It's a bit too thin, but and stiff. It doesn't have that like nice smoothness to the waviness to the hair, but it's okay. We're just having fun after all. Okay, it's something. It's a start. Small anime face. Tiny anime face. Actually, her face is a bit more triangular. Okay. The nose. I'm gonna stroll with the eyes, with the ubu eyes. Yeah, that is not. It's gonna be an alien. Anime girls have gray alien physiognomy. Never forget that, okay? Eyelashes. Okay, I kinda messed up the bang in here. Just gonna add some hair. Whatever. Add some volume as so. Okay, now we gotta have the little knobby horns. It looks like she has one of those cinema roll hats. Like, it doesn't look like actual hair, probably because I made a forehead so like explicit. Is this the right side up? Yeah, it is. Okay. Neck. Let's do this quick. Oh no. The differences are starting to show. She has her neck hidden. Well. We gotta be brave about this. We must overcome our fear of failure. And fail live on stream. Without shame. Okay, this is the clavicle, kinda. Oh no, I'm doing chicken scratch lines. That's a no-go. Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't wanna... What I'm doing right now, that's not good. That's like, I'm second guessing my lines. Even if they're bad, like, it adds texture that I don't want to have. So if you're wrong, it's like better to be confidently wrong. Okay, let's finish this up quick. Something like that. Something like that. It's vaguely woman shaped. That's fair enough. There you go. Anime girl, complete. It looks horrifying. I never said this was gonna be good. Confidently wrong, Soma. Confidently wrong, Soma. Never forget that. There we go. Other arm, I don't care. Let's just do this. Elbow. There we go. There you have your anime girl. Congratulations. Oh, that's a shape. So we're not using shapes to draw? Okay. That's good enough. Okay, there we go. What about pens, pencils? Pencil allows students to sketch very lightly on the page, combining the thinking and doing to one step. You wanna separate thinking and doing? Ballpoint, they're not all bad. Think before you act, basically. That's what they wanna teach us with these fine line, very dark pens. Okay, nice paper, and there we go. Oh shit! Congrats, you're a beginner. Thank you. Yeah, I am a beginner. Not like from absolute zero. I have some experience with 3D and I've drawn a little bit before. Not much. Like, I did this Kebab Man. Oh, he's flying. I did Kebab Man as a sort of intermission before. Okay, video is text. Yeah. Lines using your arm. Okay, we're gonna have to shut the music up for a little second and start with the first tutorial. Wow, I feel like XQC. Soma reacts to drawing tutorials. Oh shit. Okay.
There are two major types of skills that are involved in drawing. Mechanical skills, the things you physically do with your body, and analytical skills, the concepts you understand in your head.
Tips for beginners: use a Loomis method and always draw bigger.
Both are addressed
Got
throughout this course.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to get started by looking at the most important mechanical skill of all: how we use our arms to make marks. It sounds simple. After all, you've been using your arms to do all kinds of things throughout your whole lives. But while you're probably very familiar with the mechanics of writing, you're probably equally unaware of the other ways in which your arm can be moved and how this can impact the marks that you produce. Movement occurs from joints, like the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder.
Okay.
And often different parts will move in concert, pivoting on multiple joints at once, without you having to think about it. If you reach out to grab a glass of water, for example, you're not thinking about every part that needs to move in order to reach your goal. You just do it. It's an instinct and it's in your muscle memory, just like walking and breathing. And while breathing is something you were more or less born to do, walking wasn't so. When you were young, you had to learn all of these skills that you now take for granted. And you did it by concentrating, by being very conscious about every little action you performed and every little step you took and how you managed your balance. This is how instinctual behavior and muscle memory is developed. First, we do things consciously, and over time it becomes second nature. Today, you're a baby once again. This course will develop your instincts and your muscle memory, but it will do so through a lot of very direct, conscious action. Everything you do here will be the result of intent, of planning, and of forethought. It will be frustrating, and you're going to slip up often. You'll find yourself drifting off in thought, and you will have to reassert that control over every action you perform. These things will happen, so don't worry about when they do. And ultimately, when you're done, you will have a much more instinctual control over how you handle your mark making. And you'll no longer have to think about how every single mark needs to go down, and more about which marks you want to make. Your body will handle the rest. Depending on which pivot your arm is moving from, you can make marks that are tight and precise, like these lines from the wrist, but quite limited in terms of how far they can really go before you start wobbling too much. And marks that flow smoothly and fluidly and maintain a consistent trajectory, like these lines from the shoulder.
Okay, shoulder lines.
They
Wrist.
aren't entirely precise, and they don't make, super tight turns like these with like on the dime precision, but their ability to maintain a smooth, consistent trajectory over a long distance and even shorter distances is extremely valuable. Both ultimately have their purposes, but because you're used to writing and are likely already familiar with drawing from your wrist, and that's probably what you use for most of your marks, this course puts a lot of focus on drawing from your shoulder, so that by the time you're through, you'll be able to do so with the same level of comfort and familiarity with which you draw from your wrist already. So what does it mean to draw from your shoulder? The easiest way to demonstrate this is to step through each different joint, pinning it down in space, and trying to draw. First, the wrist. This is what we're used to doing, and we'll generally anchor our wrist in the same location as we write a particular letter. It's great for the kind of precision that writing demands, and as you can see, you're able to make really fine, specific bends.
You're
and twists,
subscribed
like writing your letters.
to Drawbox?
all
To me?
very precise. Then you've got the elbow. In your own drawings, that is, outside of Drawbox, you're going to be using this one a lot. It'll be a little unfamiliar at first, but it's definitely easier to use than your shoulder, so people tend to gravitate towards it. So here, if I'm just holding my elbow in place, you can see that I can make longer strokes, and they're still remaining quite smooth, and I can execute them without too much wobbling or waviness. Finally, we've got the shoulder,
okay.
and that's what we're going to be using for most of our marks in this course, and definitely all of those throughout this entire lesson in particular. It provides a broad sweep covering a large distance. I don't even need to hold it because that's pretty much the only pivot I've got left. And it will actually work for smaller strokes too. So let's start out with looking at just the kind of marks that you can make from your shoulder, keeping them fairly straight and smooth. And you can also maintain really nice flow for even those shorter marks. Although this is something students often struggle with. When you get caught up working in a small scale, you'll end up feeling more restricted and more limited because it will feel a little bit awkward to use your shoulder in that situation. But still, push yourself to use that shoulder even when the marks are tiny, and you'll find that your ability to make smooth flowing marks that are even that short will improve over time, and that will be a very useful tool. Now, of course, moving forward, you won't need, moving forward in your own drawings, that is, you won't necessarily need to use the shoulder every time, but it's important in this course, and you're never going to be using your elbow here because the elbow is just a fairly easy alternative. And we want to make sure that you are well equipped with all your tools. So drawing from your shoulder means primarily driving that motion from your shoulder joint. Your upper arm here will move noticeably, whereas when you draw from your elbow, the upper arm would remain static. Like if I'm holding this down and trying to pivot from it, this upper arm remains still. In the past, I've talked about locking your other joints and keeping them from moving, but I think that this phrasing tends to stress people out, and some people just get so obsessed with the idea of, oh, how do I know if I'm drawing from my shoulder or not my elbow? And it's not worth the trouble. People overthink it so much, and it just ends up being a waste of time. So instead, let's talk about just how we're driving that motion. So driving it from the shoulder, meaning that the whole arm is moving, and whether or not part of the arm is remaining frozen when it shouldn't. A common source of trouble for students is when they anchor their elbows quite heavily onto the tabletop, and this limits us from pivoting from anything but our elbow or our wrist. The upper arm simply can't move.
Your
because it's just
shoulder
pinned down.
hurt when drawing?
Don't
I
worry
guess
about
that means
For those of you
you're
who rest
using
your
it.
hand gently on the page for added stability. It's still quite a light contact and isn't quite the kind of heavy anchor that your elbow gets. And so you can still do this as long as you're aware and keeping track of where you're drawing from. You may catch yourself slipping back to drawing from the wrist, but just correct yourself as you do that, and always be, attentive to this sort of thing.
Okay,
All I want you to
okay.
do whenever you make a mark is to think about how your arm is moving.
So no
How to
anchoring.
engage that whole arm from the shoulder. Focus on flow and fluidity over accuracy. Students tend to be focused too much on being very slow and steady to be, hyper accurate, when in doing so, they lose all this fluidity and flow to their strokes. And that's something
Well,
we'll
that
talk about
happened
in
when
the
I
Just remember,
tried to
we're
draw
focusing on the
them.
shoulder here because that is the part that people struggle with. Because it's
The-
difficult,
the-
because it's
wait,
uncomfortable,
it's the
we
other
naturally
camera.
gravitate away from using it.
Wow,
even when it's the best tool in the
incredible
job.
drawing.
We have a natural tendency to go down the path of least resistance. And by focusing on the shoulder throughout this course, we can eliminate that resistance. So that
Chicken
we keep our
scratches,
conscious
if
attention
I
on
remember
what we're
correctly, that's
drawing
what they're
rather
called.
than physically how when drawing our own things.
Okay, cool. So basically, no anchoring. I can delete this. Yes. I did my own little copy. So if I remember correctly, this this is the movement, like no anchoring, no shoulder, and like wink 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 wink, or no like wrist. I wanna do it. I wanna feel the muscles working. Of the shoulder. So like completely free hand. Work on like having this nice flow. Okay. Okay, more music, I guess. And wait, no, not yet. So that's the video. No. There we go. I got completely lost. There we go. Okay, so the video demonstrated the difference between drawing from the wrist, elbow, and shoulder, the benefits of each, and why in this course we focus primarily on drawing from your shoulder. As always, watching the video first and later reading through the text will help you absorb the material more efficiently than just doing one or the other. Don't be afraid to come back and rewatch or reread the material either to help refresh your memory later on. Old habits. Thanks to the importance of literacy in our society and the fact that handwriting is still an important skill in our day-to-day lives, for now at least, most students equate the mechanics of drawing to those of writing. We use pencils and pens, pushing the tip into the page, and we move our hand from the wrist to write. This is very effective for creating the tight twists and turns necessary for small letters, but as soon as we try to draw longer, smoother lines, we start to run up against its limitations. Okay, so we have 3 pivots. The wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder. The specific pivot you choose to use will determine the range of motion you can achieve. Moving from the wrist will only allow you to move across a more limited distance and will quickly start following a very obvious arc. Moving from the elbow, even more so from the shoulder, will allow you to maintain a straighter trajectory longer before the arc of the motion becomes obvious. Cool. Let's keep it simple. For the sake of simplification, we can ignore the elbow and focus on the idea of either drawing from your wrist, where your hand moves but the wrist remains pinned in place for very stiff, tight control, like details and writing, and drawing from the whole arm, where everything, including your upper arm, is moving as you draw. This is great for smooth, fluid line work, even when drawing smaller marks, because it emphasizes a consistent trajectory and minimizes erratic wobbling. Cool. So he's not saying to not draw from the wrist or elbow, but to develop drafting from the shoulder. Okay. The path of least resistance. Drawing with your whole arm is frankly difficult, or more accurately, hey, it's Alcrun. Inspiring stuff I'm seeing here. Always strive to learn something new. Also, you're on in the shower. I'm drowning. Alcrun! Alcrun! I'm drowning, bro! Turn the heat down! The steam is getting into the phone. Alcrun! Knock, knock! Oh god, I'm sorry! Yeah, I'm experimenting a bit. So we have drawn 2 amazing drawings as of now. The first is Kebab Man, my original character. He's not part man, part chainsaw. He's part man, part doner kebab. And then one of the guys said to draw an anime girl. And so I did not draw one, I drew 2. A stick figure and then loam from Urusei Yatsuba. Yatsuba? Urusei... Yeah, Yatsuba, right? Yatsura. Yatsura doesn't mean anything. What a jump scare. I saw a doner kebab in Japan. No way. Has science gone that far? Doner kebab in Japan. Holy shit. The 21st century is full of surprises. I'm pretty proud of Interval 03. Let's check it out. Interval 03, the lineman, aka Helldiver adjacent soldier. Nice. Look at you drawing. I have a pic of it. And were they like Turkish? The owners? Okay. That's why when we face a choice of how we're going to use our arm to make a mark, when we are faced with two paths to choose from, using our whole arm poses far more resistance. We naturally want to go down the easier road, to draw in the familiar fashion from the wrist. It is for this reason that the course forces you to draw from the shoulder in most cases. Be patient with yourself, do not rush, do not force yourself, take breaks, and allow the work to take as long as it needs to. You only have one body, and to break it so early would be a tragedy. Yeah, I do have a Discord. I think that the link is in the description actually. If you go to the brace yourselves, we're gonna watch ourselves live on stream. The thumbnail. Hello, Soma. There you go. This here. The Discord. There's a link. Yes, you're right. The Discord. Very funny guy, Mr. Soma. Let's do the Mexican wave. Let's do the Mexican wave. Wait, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. What? But if we expand it, will it change? A little bit. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, Somas! Come on, Somas! Keep going! Oh shit! This is gonna take a little bit. Okay. Hey! Big learning hours. Okay, so back to the lesson. Overhand! Resting some part of your arm on the page is a pretty normal thing people do, as it provides additional support and helps us draw for longer without as much fatigue. However, this can result in more friction and dragging, which can make it easier for us to fall back to drawing from certain pivots and not engaging the whole arm. Workout, yeah, basically the thing with the ropes that people do in the gym. What are they training for? Horse riding? Like super intense horse riding? Why do people grab the ropes and start like yanking them? Gently resting the side of your hand or a finger on the page as you draw is fine. It will drag a little, but as long as you're aware of it and catch yourself whenever you slip back to drawing from your wrist, it'll be okay. The added support is well worth it. Hey, it's Jack. What's up? The last time I used my arm to draw, I had an easel. What do? I don't know, man. That's a question you gotta answer for yourself, I guess. I mean, I appreciate that you are not only following the stream, but you're also drawing and posting on the Discord. Like, goddamn, the bigger is him, he needs strike. really putting in the work. But however you engage your practice ultimately is up to you, right? I'm gonna be following this tutorial. You're gonna do the exercises. Well, that's on you. How to hold your pen. Okay, interesting. Let's see. You could stand, huh?
Different tools are used with different grips. If you've had any prior training or perhaps watched some figure drawing videos on YouTube, you may have heard about a correct way to hold your
Yeah, I
pencil or
saw
your paintbrush.
Broco like draw
Sometimes
like
though, students will
like
pick up this
this.
piece of information and then become a little overzealous, applying it to everything. So let's quickly talk about why we hold certain tools in certain ways. So people talk about the correct way to hold a pencil, and quite literally, they are just talking about a pencil. Often tools like pencils
Squidward, you mean like
will have
the workout?
more of the lead exposed than you're used to. We'll do it using a knife, you know, but I mean, I'm not going to teach you that here. We don't use pencils in this course. But anyway, you can see how there's all these different surfaces exposed. The side, the tip, you know, you get these little angles here, and they can be used to provide all kinds of different marks on the page. Like,
I see what you mean with overhand for shading. So, like this, like
I haven't
this.
actually used this in a while, so it's not really sanded properly, but you know, you get the idea.
Maybe I should.
This grip, this overhand grip, allows us to use all these different sides really flexibly. And so it gives us a
Small.
lot more control over this kind of tool. And you get a similar kind of deal with paintbrushes, charcoal,
Foot camera.
sorry. And you know, it's used a lot by a lot of different artists. But the thing that you need to remember is that the grip serves a purpose. Conversely,
Where should I put this?
pens don't have all those different sides to them. They've got a tip. And that tip can make a heavier mark if you apply more pressure, and it can vary a little and get a little bit thinner. But, you know, it's one axis of, or one dimension of variability, I guess, is the tip and pressure. The grip that we use for writing traditionally is called a tripod grip, although there's a few different variations of this. It's really good for controlling that pressure. And so this is still the grip that we use when drawing with pens. We don't try and use an overhand grip because in that context, we can barely even make marks because these pens tend to draw better, or their ink flows better when you've got a higher angle. Some people will really push the idea of drawing with an, you know, upright angle, 90 degrees. I usually draw at more of a, maybe, I don't know, 60, 70 degree angle. It's still pretty high, but it's a bit more comfortable. Cheaper pens, though, will have poorer ink flow and will require a higher angle. So keep that in mind when buying your tools. So one thing to keep in mind is that the overhand grip is actually valuable for one other reason, and that is that it forces students to draw more from their shoulder, because you can't, with this kind of a grip, your wrist is kind of automatically locked. And when you're drawing with
Kinda,
a
yeah.
tripod
I
grip,
guess so.
you can use your wrist a lot more effectively, which is one of the reasons that we use it for writing. Also because the tools generally, you know, lean into that. So when you're using the tripod grip, you need to be extra aware of which pivot you're using to make your marks. And you always need to remind yourself to draw from your shoulder. So long story short, even though there are grips that are favorable with other tools, we are just going to focus on the grip that you use when writing, the tripod grip. Just make sure that you are engaging your shoulder to drive the drawing motion. And the tripod grip definitely makes it easier to slip back into drawing from your wrist.
It's like a HB pencil, so not the best for drawing. I mean, I've heard that 2B pencils, like if you're gonna do some shading, that's gonna be better. But in the end, if you can make marks, you can draw, I guess. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna be using the tripod because we're gonna be using ink, and just be aware of using our shoulders. Cool. More lines, mark making. Okay. Rules to follow. As with everything in this course, the rules and principles covered on this page apply specifically to how you will be approaching the homework you do throughout the entire course. They do not apply outside the course, where other resources and lessons may encourage you to approach the problems they present in other ways that suit those cases better, or where you will be free to draw in whatever way you wish when drawing for yourself. The goal here is to ensure that outside of this course, you will be equipped to draw in the manner for which the situation calls, rather than simply falling back to what is easiest for you to do in that moment. These principles will also help ensure that you are able to apply the exercises we rely upon later in the course to their greatest effect. Okay, I guess we're gonna watch another video.
Now that we've talked about how to use our arms to make marks, let's talk about 3 principles, or really simple rules, to keep in mind when making marks. Again, throughout this course, we're being super conscious about how we're doing things. We're not just focusing on the result we're aiming for, we are thinking about how we get there every step of the way. Here's what I want you to think about when you draw your marks throughout this lesson and beyond. Number 1, your marks must flow continuously. No chicken scratching or breaking your strokes into individual marks. No. Consistent, continuous strokes. Number 2, your marks must flow smoothly. It is natural for students to focus on accuracy, so they might be susceptible to letting their lines wobble and waver. But what we want is for students to strive always to maintain a smooth and consistent flow every time. And lastly, your marks must maintain a consistent trajectory. Don't zigzag your marks back and forth. When that trajectory changes, start a new stroke.
Okay. Basically like plotting points.
Now, don't worry, we're going to look at each
Like
individual principle or rule in a little bit more detail. First, the mark must flow continuously. The most common approach I see from beginners is called chicken scratching, and that's what I showed before, where they will build up a single line by drawing a lot of smaller strokes one on top of the other, gradually making their way from one point to the next. This results in a line that feels broken, and when you use it to establish a form, which we'll get into in later lessons, it will not feel solid. Instead, draw a single continuous stroke from start to end. There will be circumstances later in the course when we draw through forms, that is, drawing them like we have X-ray vision. Even in circumstances like this, where you want to distinguish a line from being in front and behind, don't resort to dotted or dashed lines. Every mark must still be drawn continuously from end to end, unbroken. And you will struggle with this, but don't worry, just strive for it and you'll get there. But if you change the rules that you're trying to follow because they're hard to follow, then you're not going to make any progress in that direction. Second, your marks must flow smoothly. This is where drawing from the shoulder really comes into play. Students are often heavily preoccupied with accuracy, and they will happily draw slowly and carefully, even if it wobbles terribly as it follows the specific path that they're aiming for. That is not what we're after here. Our first priority is always going to be achieving a smooth flow, even if it undermines your accuracy. And it will impede your accuracy. You'll find that you're not immediately able to hit the points that you're aiming for, at least not as easily. But we do have a remedy for this. It's called the ghosting method, and it'll be introduced a little later. There's actually an exercise for it called the ghosted lines exercise.
So you basically like rehearse the line.
And you'll be able to learn how to divide the process of mark making into individual steps, where each step has its own responsibility, and where when we execute the mark, we are only focusing on the smooth, confident execution, not
So it's
on
harder
precision and accuracy.
to draw from some angles. Like the most
Lastly,
natural angle is
your
like
marks must maintain a consistent trajectory. To put it simply, don't zigzag your lines. When you hit
Like
a sudden
this,
corner,
but doing like
stop the stroke
this,
and
so
start
it's
another,
harder.
instead of trying to repeat a pattern.
yeah.
When
It's
we
welding
zigzag
here.
patterns, sometimes people will do this sort of thing for like grass or fur. They just fall into making the same kind of action over and over and over, and they're not thinking about what each individual one should look like and how it should be designed. It puts us into an autopilot mode, and it makes it much more difficult for us to continue thinking consciously about how they're meant to be made, and it'll make us get sloppy. As we work on building our instincts throughout this course, ensuring that we're always conscious about our actions is what will drive that development. So don't fall into the pattern of just repeating motions on autopilot. Like everything you come across throughout this course,
Don't
these
turn
rules
your brain
only
off,
apply in the
basically.
context of the course itself. So this lesson and the lessons after it, but not anything that you draw outside of its bounds. When you're doing the assigned exercises, you will be expected to adhere to these rules to the best of your ability. And you will slip up, you will make mistakes, but you'll also catch yourself and reassert that conscious control. So always strive to be aware of what you're doing, but have patience with yourself and don't expect perfection.
Sausages with contour, ellipses, and curves. Delicious. Okay, let's head back then. Okay, and I'm guessing the text will be an overview of what we just heard. No chicken scratching, no dotted lines, smooth, continuous, unbroken lines. This essentially means that every line we draw should consist of a single mark. Beginners, due to their heavy reliance of drawing from the wrist, tend to make very short marks. When they want to achieve a longer stroke, they'll draw a lot of overlapping marks. Building that line up gradually is what is known as chicken scratching. Okay, more lines. yeah, this is we're gonna be seeing lines for a while. I'm soggy, Hina Strike. We gotta start from the very, very basics. Hey, maybe like 40 weeks in, we'll be drawing like vehicles together, bro. We're in for the long haul. In other cases, students may find situations where they want to represent certain lines in dashed or dotted lines. For example, if we're drawing through a box, as though we have X-ray vision, we may draw the edges on the opposite side of the form in such a way. Neither of these strategies should be employed during this course. Every drawing here is an exercise, and one of the overarching goals is to help you train to be more confident and purposeful in your marks. This means executing every line in a single intentional stroke. But that artist uses chicken scratching all the time. Some students do ask, I see other artists using chicken scratch when they sketch, why can't I? It's an entirely fair question. The answer comes in two parts. Firstly, there's a difference between what a student who simply doesn't know how to make marks any other way chicken scratches, where it is erratic, unplanned, and poorly thought out, and what a trained artist will do. An artist who does so out of choice will generally show far more intent and control behind their marks, and when they need to make longer, more fluid marks, they are capable of doing so. Secondly, as mentioned above, every drawing we do in this course is an exercise. In this case, we're specifically training you to think through your marks, to execute them purposefully, so you can gain the level of control and forethought that other artists exhibit. When you draw for yourself, you're welcome to do so however you want, but the habits you learn here will gradually bleed into how you approach drawing in general. Cool. Strike says, it's alright, although I think I failed using my arm on interval 04. Interval 04 is a falling man, flow man. Nice. Nice, it's got nice gesture, I think, says the guy who doesn't know shit. Above that. Okay. Ah, that's 05. 04, absence of an easel and good lighting. I think I bulked using my whole arm. You did draw standing, holy shit. The commitment. I see some figure drawing. This one's pretty cool, I gotta say. Okay, marks must flow. The spice must flow. The act of drawing a line has two main challenges. We want to draw lines to be accurate, and we want to draw our lines to be smooth. Beginners often prioritize accuracy first, thinking that it's more important that their lines reach their intended points. But this is incorrect. The most important thing you need to focus on first is keeping your marks smooth and consistent. The reason is simple. We can generally execute pretty smooth marks now by simply changing the way in which we approach the task. If we draw as confidently as we can, without concern for where we want the line to fall, our marks will always come out smoothly, not accurately. Smooth flow is something we achieve by the approach we employ. Accuracy, on the other hand, is something that will improve with practice. Nail down your confident stroke now from your shoulder, and as you practice it, your accuracy will catch up as well. If you do the opposite, focusing on accuracy now, it will be vastly more difficult to make those marks smooth with practice. It may work eventually, but I wouldn't want to wait around to find out. Okay? Marks must maintain a consistent trajectory, so no single zigzagging stroke non-stop. Each bump is drawn separately, built into a smooth path. What do you mean by this? No autopilot repeated patterns, but smooth, continuous, and unbroken. Okay, so there are a lot of situations where you want to capture something that has a repeating pattern, I guess like grass or fur. When doing so, don't attempt to capture it all at once. Instead of zigzagging back and forth and repeating the same pattern, break it up into separate strokes, each one with a single purposeful trajectory. When dealing with a smoother wave, it's often better to start with a smooth line and then build the individual bumps into it. We'll use this quite a bit in lesson 3 when we draw the wavy edge detail on leaves. When drawing something more jagged like fur, it's important that you purposefully design the tufts of fur, making a stroke to go up, a stroke to come back down, another going up once more, and so on. This allows us to be intentional in how we make the marks. Okay, zigzagging back and forth on the other hand will cause us to go into autopilot, as all repeating patterns tend to do. This will result in the same boring flat outcome that will lose all sense of character and intentional control. Avoid it whenever you can. What's it with this furry in a bikini, this furry girl in a bikini? That's what we're gonna become. 1 month, we're gonna be drawing that. It's inevitable. We're gonna get infected. Okay, more theory, more lines. So, homework. We're gonna get our first assignment. Cool beans. Gonna get a fresh page for that. I'm sorry, Mr. Trees. I'm sorry, Mr. Beast. Hashtag Team Trees for sacrificing all those trees in Africa that you planted. But I need this. You don't get it. I need this. One of us, one of us. Are you up for it ready? Oh, I mean, you have drawn like anthropomorphic characters for your story, but like also human. Okay, don't forget, do not grind. Complete the recommended amount of each exercise to the best of your ability and move on. You'll have ample time to keep practicing and improving your skills when doing these exercises as warm-ups later. Do not rush, give yourself the time you need to plan your lines out, to prepare appropriately and to demonstrate your current best. Every mark is independently important. Once the ghosting method is introduced in the ghosting lines exercise, use it consistently for all your structural marks. Read all of the instructions carefully, multiple times if necessary. While I've tried to organize this content in as a digestible manner as I can, there is a lot of information here and there is no way you'd absorb all of it at once. Finally, take breaks. I like this song. I like the tun 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 tun, the bells. One day you're going to be a beast who can draw for hours without breaking a sweat, but right now you need to be patient with yourself and take it all one step at a time. Cool. Homework and exercises. The homework assignment for this section is as follows. 2 field pages of superimposed lines exercise. 1 field page of the ghosted lines exercise, and 2 field pages of the ghosted planes exercise. Each exercise in the list above links up to more detailed instructions on how they are done. Note, these 3 exercises constitute just one section of this lesson. You should hold on to your homework until you're done you are done. That's a grammatical error. Until you have done all 3 sections, lines, ellipses, boxes, and only submit for feedback. Okay. Once they're all done. You may feel hesitant or uncertain about whether or not you are doing things correctly, and that is normal. But it's best you push past the urge to second guess yourself. Focus on reading the instructions carefully, complete the work, and submit once all of it is complete. This will give others a solid body of work on which to base their feedback, giving you a more useful analysis of what you're doing well and what you may not understand. All assigned work done on ink. Yes, yes, yes. I will accept work done on ballpoint, but only if the situation is dire. Excuse me, teacher, my mom is dying and she gave me this ballpoint pen. And she made me promise that I will only use ballpoint pens to draw in drawbox.com. I'm sorry. The situation is quite dire. I don't want to go against her wishes. My grandma, the ballpoint pen, the ink is made out of her ashes, and I would be betraying her by not using it. I can't come up with a third joke, I don't know. What could be more dire than that? I made a deal with the devil. If I do not use a ballpoint pen, I'm gonna die. And you're gonna die too. Okay, and that's for the making use of the official critique program. Okay, whatever, that took us back to point 1. So, okay, first exercise. Superimposed lines.
The superimposed lines exercise is one that is all about teaching students that it is more important that we draw our marks confidently than accurately. Beginners are always quite concerned about making sure their lines fall precisely where they mean them to, and they'll often attempt to achieve this by drawing more slowly and carefully, hesitating, and in doing so, they'll end up with a wobbly line. Basically, in attempting to steer their hand as they draw, they are micromanaging the movement from moment to moment. Every time they catch themselves falling off their intended path, they correct the motion. And every correction adds in turn a new little turn to the trajectory in a mark that's supposed to
I
be
appreciate
straight.
that comic for like
Of course, as a
splitting the
beginner,
attention.
You cannot and should not expect yourself to be able to produce pristinely smooth and accurate lines. We can, however, choose to focus on one first. The fluidity of a line, that is how smoothly it flows, is a factor that is controlled primarily by how we choose to execute a mark. That means the steps and process we follow in actually making the mark is what determines this attribute. If we
The
draw
katana.
confidently and from the shoulder, as we've discussed previously, our lines will flow more smoothly than if we draw slowly and hesitantly. when our
He's
lines will
really
wobble
banging
and
the
become much more
points.
stiff. Other attributes, such as
It's okay.
accuracy, will improve with practice.
I find it fair that he's like going over and over the requirements. Like, it's hard to miss the instructions when he says them like 5 times over the course of like multiple pages and multiple videos. So I appreciate
Although
it.
there are other things we can do to adjust our approach to improve that as well. And we'll look at that in a later exercise, when we start talking about the ghosting method. So this actual exercise is fairly straightforward.
Draw the lines, Bart.
We draw a guideline with a ruler.
So true. Have I shown you, right?
And then we attempt to
I'm gonna
superimpose
show
a
you
new
my
line right on
OC.
top of it,
Every new
freehand,
guy
about
that
8
comes,
times or
I'm gonna
so.
show him my OC.
And feel free to rotate the page as needed.
Kebab man. He's not Chainsaw Man because he doesn't have chainsaws. He has doner kebab as a head and arm.
For now,
His
I
power,
want you
he
to focus
never-
mostly on straight lines, starting with
he
short
never,
lines of maybe 2
he's
inches,
never hungry.
something like
He
something that
can
long
always
maybe,
make a good
and then
meal, a
working your way up.
satisfying meal.
But you can mix some curves in there as well if you like.
Is it happening? Are they
Here's
drawing
what
the
it looks
box?
like
Not
when you
yet,
run
I
a
don't
full
think so.
page. Notice that I worked with shorter lines, medium, longer lines, and a few curves. Although if you don't want to do the curves, that's
Damn,
fine
he
too.
probably smells
There are a
amazing,
few
right?
issues we need to look into for when doing this exercise. First and foremost is wobbling. And I want to make sure that this shows up on camera, so I'm going to exaggerate
Lamb
it.
meat is
but
incredible.
when you're trying to follow a path and you draw very slowly, as previously explained,
Oh my god,
gonna end up
you already
with a wobbly
surpassed
line.
50% of DeviantArt.
this is because we're choosing to draw in a manner
maybe.
that prioritizes accuracy over flow, and we end up hesitating instead of drawing confidently. So
I
this
gotta
is
draw
a
Cold
hesitant
Steel the Hedgehog one of these times.
line. Drawing confidently is a choice, and we can demonstrate that by simply taking a piece of paper and drawing random lines on it as quickly as we can. Notice that these marks don't have any wobbles. They're not necessarily straight, but they are confidently drawn, and they are smooth, maintaining a consistent trajectory. Drawing confidently doesn't mean drawing quickly, but drawing fast does make it impossible to hesitate. So by doing this, you can show yourself that regardless of, a naturally shaky hand, you are capable of drawing a smooth stroke. And that's really the bedrock of everything that we're doing here. The second issue I want
My
to
grandpa
look for-
with Parkinson's locking in when he gives me the backhand slap. His hand is shaking, but with the speed. Perfect line. Perfect line to the back of my cheek. The Parkinson's leaving his body the moment he gets angry.
is fraying, and I'll draw another.
You know
example
what else
of
is
this.
confidently drawn? Sonny Chu.
And I'll draw a couple actually. just to
Probably.
help make the point.
I gotta see the quickly. The Sonny Chu Coca-Cola or soda. It wasn't Coca-Cola. Soda. There we go. Coordination be damned, Sonny. Oh, this one's so good. Holy. Saturn devouring his son. Oh. Be extra. The muscle tension keeping his shakes. He has been maintaining his muscle mass for the big slap. My grandpa is fucking Joseph Joestar. He's been doing a natural bioshaker.
So you
Bioshaker is like a product that
was very different from what I demonstrated.
shakes your
initially,
muscles and supposedly gets you
and
ripped.
this is more correct. So the difference is both of these here have fraying. It's like when you look at the end of a rope and you've got all those little separating threads. That's what I'm talking about. What we want to watch out for is fraying on both the end where you start and the end that you finish. Actually, if you got it on the end here, it's fine. It's expected that because your lines are going to take off at different trajectories.
You really pulled out
just
the
not being
circles.
perfect. You're going to end up with a deviation here. There's going to be distances between your strokes.
The arrows and the circles.
Closely at it,
he made a YouTube thumbnail in real time
to avoid
on paper.
Having very much fraying at this beginning because that's something we can control. That occurs when you are just drawing randomly.
Whoa, teacher! You haven't taught us circles yet. We're barely starting at lines. So you came in and whoa, calm down. You told me how to hold the pen. And we're starting to see lines, and now you're putting circles in there?
And not taking the time to actually line up your pen at the correct starting point.
So if
you are seeing fraying at the
soy missile incoming,
like we do here, and not so much here, like there's a little bit, but it's not very significant. If you're seeing this, that means that you're not taking the time to prepare before you execute those marks. So just make sure that you are making those choices, that you are going through the steps one at a time to execute the mark to the best of your ability. You will find this to be a big factor throughout this whole course. The idea that we make choices to position ourselves in a way that increases our chances of making the marks that we want. If you rush in, if you hope for luck to see you through, then your line work will be erratic and messy as it is here. If, however, you invest your time in your planning and preparation before executing your marks, being conscious of the decisions along the way, you will find that you are capable of far more than you may have expected. Patience and forethought is incredibly important. So that's essentially the core of this exercise. It's going to be to create filled pages like this, where you start out with shorter lines, work your way to longer ones, and you're going over each one 8 times.
8 times,
don't press too hard when you're drawing, just make enough contact so that it actually makes a mark, but you don't need to grind your nib into the page, as that can damage your pen's ink flow. Also, those of you working with ballpoint, because ballpoint is okay for lesson 1 in the box challenge, lesson 2 is where fine liners really kick in, although if you can have them for lesson 1, that's great. One thing you may find is that your pens may create grooves in the page. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Even if your pen is falling into a groove as you draw, that doesn't change.
So what is he trying to say? That I should take down my strokes one,
not on being
the
slow
single
and
stroke
steady,
multiple times for
but on
accuracy.
drawing confident strokes. Actually, I have got fraying there already, so you get the point anyway. So that's it. I'll bring this up one more time. And so that's also an example of what I mean by a filled page. There's obviously lots of room where you could fit in more, but this is still pretty reasonably filled to me. So try and aim for that.
Okay. So this is gonna be officially our first exercise page. Music, please. Okay. I'm gonna read the instructions real quick. And yep. I'm gonna put the date in here. It's what date is 10/11/2025. So it's official. So we're being really serious about it. When the shit has a date, it's basically signed. Okay, before that, let's check on the practice. Interval 06. Reject becoming a furry by becoming a scaly instead. That's a lizard woman. Somebody is being visiting Tamriel. Interval 07, a masterpiece. The abstract scenes. Not even Picasso could make such a beautiful dong. Very good. Basically, no bubble, no fraying allowed. You got this. Thank you, thank you. Okay, the purpose of this exercise. Every exercise has a specific purpose to it, and how you approach it is going to depend on what you're aiming to get out of it. In this case, this exercise is all about confidence. What was that Corona meme? Not confidence. As you draw your superimposed strokes, you will notice that you're not going to be able to see where your pen is drawing, because your hand will be blocking it. This will make it particularly difficult to guide the stroke as you go. Ultimately, that's the point. If you remember back to the lesson, you're not meant to guide the stroke as you execute it. You need to be pushing forward with a confident, persistent pace, trusting in your muscle memory and letting your arm do what it does best. Some students find that looking towards the end point can help in this regard. Below you'll find a number of common mistakes I've seen from students over the years. 1. Wobbling. A wobbly line as shown here suggests that you're hesitating and not quite giving up control. You're guiding your hand as you draw with your conscious brain, and its course correcting as you go, and causing that wobbles. You need to trust in your muscle memory and allow your arm to do the job. This will result in what I call fraying on one end, like fraying at the end of a rope, where the different strokes are separating from the guideline. But this is entirely normal. It will reduce with practice and time, but for now, it is something I expect to see and don't regard as a mistake. Mistake is fraying on both ends. As mentioned above, fraying on the far end is normal and expected. Fraying on both ends suggests that you are not taking the time to position your pen correctly at the starting point of your guideline, and that you're just kind of winging it. The thing about confidence is that it's not without its preparation. We draw confidently because we've already done everything we can to assure success. This doesn't mean success is guaranteed, but that there is simply nothing else to be done, and therefore no use worrying or hesitating. So let me remember. Yep. Let me get the ruler out and make the lines. I got a big ass ruler that I'm not gonna use because it's not like very tenable. I got the Minecraft ruler, like. But we're not gonna use that one. We're gonna use a simple triangle. A dirty triangle, not a simple triangle. Okay. So couple of inches. Okay. What about these curved lines? Let me check the instructions. Also try some arcing lines and even some waves, though the waves will definitely be very, very difficult. Millions must try. Indeed, my friend. I am the Comiket Soyjak. No, Comiket Chodjak. There was a Chodjak I saw on Twitter. Oh my god. Millions must try. Well, this is one. Okay, Art Chodjak. Not doing the work. I saw one specifically that was like the guy at a convention, and it said in the background like Chod's very cool story, and he had like painters, like a brush and the thing you used to not stain yourself. What was its name? Yeah, the thing chefs and artists used to not like get dirty. But whatever. Let's stop procrastinating and get started. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna do. It was right there. I saw it. Ah! Fine. Chojak art must try. It's not gonna be the same as. There we go. That Billions Must Try. Chud School Story Chapter 01 with the anime girl in the apron. Yeah, I was looking for the word apron. The Sportacus Chojak. Oh my lord. Welcome to the Chudtrix. Billions must exercise. So true. Summer will always be a gem. Thank you. I do think I'm kinda cringe sometimes. I'm a bit cold sometimes. But it's okay. Everybody is part of nature. Wait, let's change. Whoa. Wow. That's too close. Too close. You can see that, like, the calluses in my hand. That's a bit better. Okay. All this talking and so little working. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, after that, getting flashbacks to 9th grade geometry. I'm gonna prepare the oh shit. We're supposed to use the paper horizontally. Okay. Whatever, bro. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna be drawing confident lines just because I'm getting fucking exasperated with myself. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, simple enough. Minimal fraying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, I was doing so good, and then one line went like. Garbage is out. I am safe. Verizon has to put their special offer letters in not red or orange envelopes. I thought I was in trouble. You thought you got a warning? Oh, nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1. Okay, let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The fraying is getting bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so not too fast, not too slow. There's like a Goldilocks zone where you're being confident with the lines, but you're not like throwing caution to the wind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. God damn, that was pretty good. Okay, now let's make a bit of a longer line. We are officially on the grind, my dudes. Maybe I should leave a little bit more space. And not press too hard on my fine liner, because I'm gonna destroy the tip. Okay. Bit of a longer line, let's do this. May I make a suggestion? Go ahead, start 44110. 44110. 4410. Go ahead, you have permission. What is your suggestion, bro? Okay. 2, 3. Okay. It's just a muscle exercise, right? You're like make the tracing line a different color, you can see it every time you go over with the pen. Well, otherwise the original gets obscured over time. That is true. But the instructions are very clear on not modifying the exercises. I did subscribe to the Patreon. It's like $2 a month where they give you credits. They give you credits and they check your homework. And they're kinda strict about it, so... Well, it's a very reasonable assertion. It's like a very reasonable suggestion, like to have like a red line so you can see the delta, right? How far you're fraying. The guys at Drawbox are strict on having you following the regimen and the instructions to the letter. Alright, we won't get too creative, yeah. Yeah. Sorry to say. They do say at the beginning, like, to draw other things than the Drawbox exercises and modules, like to divide and experiment and like draw shit that has nothing to do with learning or whatever, so you push your boundaries and learn to have fun. But that's not the like Drawbox.com and submitting the exercises is not the place. It's like we're gonna get technical, work on it. Okay. Oops. Okay, that's not too bad. Also, say you have to go fast. Perhaps treat these like negatives. It does say, I feel like there's a Goldilocks zone, right? Like not too fast, not too slow. Not so slow that you get wobbly, but not too fast that you like fucking miss by a huge margin, right? Okay, let's do the long lines. This, I assume, are gonna be quite difficult. Are the lines that I made with the ruler even straight to begin with? I don't know why they seem a little bit curved to me. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's make it 6. The Mr. Starch, do you know how to draw? Do you have like a drawing practice? Oh no, my ruler is too dirty. It's starting to stain the page. Okay. Very well, very well. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Okay. Wobbling. These lines aren't looking too hot. The line's 9,000 basically. Oh, that was such a good line. What the hell? What? The Parkinson is setting in. The dementia is activating. Oh no, what happened? Oh no. Bros, we're gonna fail the class. What am I gonna do? I spent $2 on this. What am I gonna tell my parents? They're gonna fail me out of art school, Roblox art school. You know, thinking about the most famous art school rejects of all time, you know who it is? Like, his art was not bad, but when you think that he was living at the same time as like Gustav Klimt, you can see why they rejected him. Like, I don't know. I'm talking shit out of my mouth. Like, the guy could definitely paint and draw better than I can, so who am I to judge? Okay. Let's compare this with the examples, so... Okay. We have a few horrible streamers. I think it's passable. I mean, it's just an exercise. I can't believe we're dissing the big man. I'm that guy. Oh no, that's a surefire way to become an ethno-nationalist dictator. Yeah. We cannot fail art class for the sake of humanity. Okay, let's. I did have leave some space for the the arcs. So maybe this isn't the best view because of chat. There we go. There you have space to be in here. You guys have your little space where you're safe. And I can work in here. Like I can shoo you away. So you create an artistic impression of the American flag. I'm already a modern artist. So easy. Okay, let's okay, let's try a curve. Oh no. Okay. Right, so let me number this. So I don't know what's what. There you have a little number one. I'm gonna put this in its own little folder. Where did I leave that thing? There we go. I'm gonna folder, and that's where the homework is gonna go before they grade it. Good. Let's continue. There's more. There's more art to be done. It's not over. There's more art to be done. The grind only just begins. What is this music? Rhodes piano, my beloved. I threw my raw start in the Discord. You should look at it. Haha, just kidding, unless. Where is it, bro? Interval 08 Reagan! Pew pew. Start tutorial. Okay, we got some pixel art. Is this from Rust? Some Bob Rust. Some Bob Rust art. The Elden Ring sign. Nice, nice, very cool. Nice, bro. Nice. I like it. I like the scenery, the Pinterest nature of it all. Put one too many of these things. Gene smashed. My man Alcrun. Gotta use a dissolution server. Oh yeah, inject that external validation into my veins. A stainless steel table. No, it's wood. You can see it. Gonna take you for a little tour. You can see where the paint is from where I lay my hands on and rub and chafe all over. Wait, can you see it? Sorry, the stream's a bit delayed, so There you go. There's a okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. No, the camera angle and lighting made it look metal. Yeah, it's reflective. Also, these cameras aren't like super professional HD Giga. Nice, nice on Bloodborne. I'm gonna give you a cigar for that. Okay, so we need 2 pages of superimposed lines. Let's keep up with the grind. I've thought recently how nice having a cold material like polished stone or metal would be nice. Not in winter, I think. Not in winter. Ah, shit. The camera betrayed me. That's what I get for messing around with my settings. I got the crotch cam again. This is not that kind of stream. Okay, let's get this done. One, two, three, 4, 5. By the way, how are you doing, Erratic? Nice seeing you. This is a bit of a experimental stream, and I think it will be a thing. I'm kind of a lot of fun in seeing like bigger as him practicing along with me. It's very motivating. Also, Mr. Starch posting his art on the Discord. Okay, opening up badly with the fraying. No, I don't want Pac-Man. I don't want Pac-Man. I'm sorry. I'm no Pac-Man tolerated in this house. Okay, let's see my playlist. Music for videos. What brand of pen is formally endorsed by the Somalian Empire? I'm using... I like how you went from... What pen are you using? No response. What brand of pen is formally endorsed by the Somalian Empire? No... Guess I'll die. I'm joking. I love pen. Wait, no. You're one of the ghosts. You're supposed to hate him too. What are you talking about? You're the enemy of the game, bro. Okay, so the pen. It's a Stedler 0.5 millimeter pen. The cores, the Drawbox, they recommend these pens. They're gonna be fine liners, ink, 5 millimeters. Why? So basically, all your mistakes are etched into the page for everyone to see. And so you think through before making a mark, right? I'm gonna get these lines done. Ooh, that was a good one. The Pac-Man tolerance. I feel so bad. I just didn't want to hear the Pac-Man team, and it turns out that like a Pac-Man fan is... I forgot that a Pac-Man fan is looking at my stream. Like, subscriber lost. Reported. They're gonna take me to YouTube jail for racism. For being racist against Pac-Man fans. These are only in one direction as well. Shit. Yeah, only one direction. Basically, what they're gonna be observing is the frame on the lines, and they're gonna be. I hope they're gonna be gentle, qualifying me, grading me. Sorry, that's the correct word. Grading me in the quality of my lines. I've seen this exercise done before. Always assumed it was more like a zigzag. I mean, like you said before, this is an exercise for muscle memory and control. Usually my profile picture is a Blinky gamer pic on the Xbox 360, but I decided to change it for to Clyde for November because fall colors. Gotta love fall colors. Autumn is my favorite season by far. Like, it's pleasantly cold. The warm orange of the sun. It's like a bit somber, but very pleasant. And of course, the leaves turning red and orange. Beautifully. Cool weather means heavier drip. Yeah, yeah. You can put on layers and like dress up a bit instead of being like sweating in jeans, or like if you don't have any social compromises that force you to wear like full clothing. I don't know how to say it. You're gonna be in well, where I live, you're gonna be short bound. You're gonna be bound by shorts and jorts basically all spring and summer. Shoot. You're gonna be dripping with sweat. Well, that's brave. Okay, so this is extended. We're gonna change the music. Okay, that was a bit better. I like the last 3 months in general. So autumn and winter are my favorite seasons. Also, Halloween is the best holiday, and if you disagree, you're free to DM me and meet me behind the local CVS and fight me. I think hardly anyone would disagree with you. Halloween really is the most fun holiday. I mean, Christmas is nice too, because of all of the food mostly. You're like free to be a glutton and have like avarice with the presents. Gluttony. It's a holiday of gluttony and avarice, whilst Halloween is a holiday of whimsy. I wanna talk so much, but having that verbal part of my brain activated while I draw those lines, I feel like it lowers my accuracy, but I'll live with it. Nobody's gonna take my yapping away. Nobody. Even if I fail art school, I don't care. I love snow, but Halloween's my favorite holiday. Yeah. Halloween's made for being silly. I mean, eating candy is nice too. But like, going to a Halloween party, I have a friend who dressed up as Dracula, and every time somebody entered his house, he would grab someone and be like, "Oh, so and so's out by the door. I need you to open the door." And he would like grab his like vampire coat and be like, "Welcome to my house." Every single time for a party of like 40 people easily. He did that like for 2 hours straight. Don't worry, Soma, even if you fail art school, you can still succeed in a career in political leadership. Oh, the joke was right there. The joke was right there, right for the taking. No, I know my friends will prevent me from becoming Hitler reloaded. From becoming Mecha Hitler. There's an image. Apparently somewhere there is a shop that's called Hitler Reloaded. Shop. In Pakistan of all places. There we go. Hitler Reloaded. What were they thinking? So DM me his manifesto. You guys wanna hear some passages? Oh, I'm gonna get drawing. I'm gonna get drawing before this gets out of hand. The Draw Bomber manifesto. Oh no, my lines. You know, this was a really great idea. I'm having a ton of fun. And if I'm just grinding lines with like chatting with you guys. So this is the secret to attaining skills. Oh no! My lines got tricked. Is to be entertained by a gaggle of people commentating on the talking about topics in the background. I guess that, like, this is possible because when I'm doing these lines, like, I can still talk and like be sufficiently accurate, like not lose too much brain power as to fail horribly at the task. Like if I were writing an essay or a book or making some code, I don't think I would be able to live stream. I've often thought that I wouldn't be able to like do 3D art live because it's like I gotta shut up and do it right. But if it's just like grinding practice, drawing like 100 boxes, this is definitely miles better. I'll take the slight skill loss from live streaming to be able to enjoy the task. Okay, let's try some wiggly lines. Literally Fahrenheit 1948. Gotta find something that YouTube won't censor. Have you been copy pasting fucking big mustache man in the sky? Well, he's not in the sky, definitely. Big mustache man in the fires of hell. Quotes. Oh no. This was a decision, definitely. Gonna try a curved line. Oh. Shoot, I am using my wrist. It's one of the things we covered. To try and focus on using the shoulder for these exercises. Because of the pivots, like wrist, elbow, shoulder. The shoulder gives you way more range and the ability to make straight lines than using the wrist for like close strokes. But my elbow is getting my shoulder is getting a bit tired from. Oh, and these lines went to absolute hell. Okay, they'll see I tried. These are 2 pages of the superimposed lines. Alright, here's a good quote. Someone's instinct to say that all PH is in everybody. No, it's just like, usually you say that like, you trust in the good of people and it's not like, oh yeah, he's in hell. But what can I say? It was a slip of the tongue. I swear to God, it was a slip of the tongue. He's... Fuck. That's the dreaded streamer brain drain, the streamer penalty, intellect penalty. You gotta be yapping and doing stuff. You gotta understand that you say stupid shit all the time. Notebook slap. Well, yeah, I accidentally said something that's a big no-no. Okay, let's move on and check out the ghosted lines exercise. There we go.
I'm assuming at this point that you've read through the lines section of lesson 1 and watched the videos, and that you've completed the assigned pages of the superimposed lines exercise. In the superimposed lines instructions, I introduced the idea that drawing confidently is the key to achieving a smooth, fluid, consistent trajectory to your lines, which speaks to how we can follow the principles of mark making described in the lesson. In this exercise, I'm going to introduce you to a technique that will, as a concept, drive how you make marks throughout this entire course. It's called the ghosting method. This is a technique that I first learned from old DVDs by Scott Robertson, a name you may recognize as he's well known.
Guys, you're asking questions I do not have the answers to. I will say though, that one of my ancestors, how do you say? Give me a second. What is the word? host. Okay, one of my ancestors, like fucking 200 years ago, he hosted in his house one of the Habsburg
For the How to
family.
Draw textbook, which I find to be
That's
extremely
all I
useful
will
as a
say.
resource to have
That's
in
all.
regards to technical
In
perspective.
here in Mexico.
This ghosting technique of his is something that over the years I've come to appreciate as the bedrock of not only good mark making.
Not
But how we
direct
should
ancestor
approach
like
most
my
things in our
great
lives.
grandfather's
Most
brother.
beginners will
the
often
patriot.
approach mark making in one step: execution. They bundle figuring out what mark they want to make and how they want to approach drawing it by actually making it into one task that their brain handles all at once. This is pretty inefficient when you think about it. Anytime you try to do multiple things at once, you're probably going to do a worse job at all the given tasks than if you did them one at a time. So what I mean by this is that they will decide, okay, I want to draw a rectangle. So they will draw their mark. They know that they want kind of a straight mark here, and then they're just drawing it carefully because they want it to be straight.
The sensory.
And there you go. And they're being slow and steady because they know that the more time you put into something, the better it will come out. But that isn't quite as simple as it sounds. Because here, they've put lots of time into these lines, but they're wobbly. And they're wobbly because they're being slow and careful. That doesn't mean that rushing is the key. It simply means that there's a better way to approach this. Ultimately, that's what the ghosting method is all about. It's about breaking the process of making a mark into 3 distinct phases. First, planning. Identifying the specific nature of the mark that you want to draw, what its job is, and how it's meant to contribute to a drawing. If it's a straight line, we can place tiny points where we want the mark to start and where we want it to end.
Okay.
Here we can also rotate the page to find a comfortable angle of approach. Don't just leave your page in a single position. Move it around, turn it as much as is needed. There will be plenty of orientations where drawing marks will be more difficult. For example, I'm right-handed, so drawing like this is considerably more difficult than drawing like this. And so I want to make sure that my line that I'm going to be drawing is in a more comfortable position for me to execute it. While eventually this is something you'll want to work on to make those various orientations more comfortable, now is not the time. Right now, we're just going to focus on being able to execute a mark in a limited range of orientations really well. And that'll be enough to get us into learning more important things sooner. If we spend all our time just grinding away on being able to draw lines in every orientation, it'll be wonderful that you'll be able to say that, oh, I can draw a line in every possible direction, but what good is that if you can't actually apply it to more useful things? So the second step is preparation. Here we do what we can to get used to the motion that will be required to draw this line. Generally, this means ghosting through the motion, holding your pen above the page and going through the motion without the pen actually touching the surface. In doing this, we familiarize our muscles with what will be expected of them. Focus on the motion in the direction of the stroke as well. Instead of like going back and forth, draw in that motion, pick your hand up, and then repeat. That way you're giving your arm a better sense of this specific motion it needs to learn. And you're essentially writing it to your kind of short-term muscle memory, if you want to call it that.
Hairy arms.
And lastly, we've got execution.
You sure?
Here's where we make our mark, doing so with a confident motion.
That guy.
Hesitation
I'm like,
or
bro.
worrying. Engage your whole arm and push through that motion. Here your focus is only on getting ink on the page. So once you feel you've ghosted enough to feel comfortable with that stroke, let the pen touch the page and repeat the same motion again.
I cannot deny it.
Producing a single mark. Don't automatically go back over it or repeat yourself. One line, one mark. And so here's how I would do the whole process. Ghosting.
Oh man, we're halfway through the video
This one
version.
isn't perfect. There's a bit of curving here at the beginning, and it actually creates a very subtle S. But it's still smooth, and that's my focus. It's not perfectly accurate, but this is what we're aiming for. We prioritize the flow of the mark first, accuracy second. And this whole process is that it's like a production line. At every stage, you can think as though it's being handled by an entirely different person. Each one is only responsible for a very limited
Why are
task, and you're not concerned
the
with whether those
characters
before or after them
so
are actually
lumpy?
doing their jobs. So when you're executing your mark, you should not be thinking about whether or not you did enough planning or preparation. Whether you did or didn't is no longer relevant. The second your pen actually touches the page, any opportunity to avoid making a mistake has passed. You have to accept what happens and push through.
Okay.
This is generally where wobbling occurs. Students who apply the first two stages correctly can still second guess themselves and hesitate when making their mark, resulting in wobbling. So you can sit here and, put your points down, ghost as much as you want, but if you don't physically make the choice, or mentally, I guess, make the choice of committing to that stroke, if you hesitate, you will end up with a wobbly line. And so committing
New
is key.
interval, lumpy character. Let's see the lumpy character. What is that? I like how happy it is.
So this exercise will basically be to draw a bunch of straight lines, applying this ghosting method, across
You
your
have to
page.
draw it first. Got it.
I'll often just put down a bunch of
I'll
random
be
points
expecting it.
and then connect them together. And I've got an example of how it looks when it's finished. Now, there are a few mistakes that students will find themselves making, so let's go over them fairly quickly. First, basically what I've already discussed, it's like a broken record at this point. If you wobble your lines, you are not executing your mark confidently. And you need to make sure that when your pen touches the page, your only responsibility is making a smooth, confident mark. And as I discussed before in the superimposed lines exercise, if you don't think you can make confident lines, just take a piece of paper and draw lines as quickly as you can, and you'll show yourself that when you don't give yourself the opportunity to hesitate, your lines come out smooth. Another issue that students run into is the tendency to have their strokes arc a little bit. So let's say they've got 2 points. They might be trying to draw a straight line, and they may find that every time it arcs. And there's 2 possible reasons for this. One is just that maybe they're drawing from their wrist. If I try and draw a straight line here from my wrist with, my wrist is firmly locked in place, I can't help but curve that line. The elbow will also produce a bit of a curve, just not as much as this, but always make sure that you are executing these marks from your shoulder and engaging your whole arm, as we discussed in previous videos. The other reason, if you are definitely using your whole arm to execute these marks and your wrist is locked in one position, in one orientation, it's not able to pivot from here, then it may simply be that your brain kind of thinks incorrectly about what a straight line is. And so you may find yourself, when you tell it, I want to draw a straight line, it might just make a bit of a curve. And the way to kind of deal with that is to purposely curve your line in the other direction. And the hope here is that it will compensate. And with your brain wanting to naturally curve things in this direction, when you try and draw this line, the line should come out straighter. And you'll have to be very conscious
Basically,
about this
twist the brain
but
the
over
other way
time,
around.
The brain will be rewired in terms of what it thinks to be a straight line, and that issue will go away. So this is the process that you're going to be using for every mark you draw throughout this course, this ghosting method where you plan, prepare, and execute. It can be applied to straight lines, curves, ellipses, anything. At its core, though, it comes down to a very simple concept, that you need to think before you draw, and make sure that the line you want to draw will actually contribute to your drawing in some way. People have this terrible tendency of just putting marks down and then deciding whether or not it was a good idea later. The ghosting method is all about plan first, think about what you're trying to do and what you're trying to contribute, and then see it through.
I'm quite interested in seeing how this view number decreases as we progress through the lessons. Actually, I can get a sneak peek. Let's see. Let's jump to... Probably people will jump to the last lesson, so... Let's go to lesson 6. Everyday objects. Let's see how many people survive a tenth of those at the beginning. Very dark sci-fi, wow. Cool. The metamorphosis of dark intellect. That's a cute character. He looks like a doll baby. Have you seen that, like, dog baby? There you go, the doll babies. Just lumpy. This one. Yeah. Came for the drawing, stayed for the ADHD. Hey, it is what it is. Came for the drawing, stayed for the stimming. Just like. Okay, video instructions. Music, please. Ghosting lines is a technique I first learned from Scott Robertson, specifically from this DVD from years ago. People even use DVDs, let alone VHSs, from the Nomon workshop. Okay. And it's really become, at least on a conceptual level, the backbone of how I want my students to think. As you should now be familiar with the concept of executing your marks with confidence, the ghosting method helps us break the mark, making process into a series of steps that allows us to draw with that same confidence, while also improving the accuracy of our results. It also forces us to think and consider our intentions before each and every mark we put down. And that is a problem for the you of the future. I ate a whole bag of bacon yesterday and now I crave more. I know that too much will eventually end me. The tough decision, bacon now, bacon tomorrow. Will you risk the tummy ache for the pleasure of cured meat? I guess it's normal. I have this thing. I mean, it's music for videos. But it's like, whenever a song that I have used on a video plays, look, here I am, live, I always only covers enough for food, and we're lucky we've got that. With my funds near zero after a single month of tuition, I can pinpoint it. I can absolutely pinpoint it. Rely on the only practical solution to this crisis: child labor. This is normal behavior, right? This is normal. Just like being like, that's exactly the music I use for this scene for Griffith. I get flashbacks, I swear to God, to exactly the point in time in my life when I made that video. Anyways, we are making art. Okay, the first step when making a mark is not to jump in and put ink on the page. Beginners will often do this, and for obvious reasons, that impatience leads to poor results. Instead, we will ask... What happened? Okay, it ended. Instead, we ask ourselves. The Kill Bill music starts playing. What kind of mark do we want to make? If it's a stroke that is meant to start and end at a particular location, identify them, even go so far as to mark them down with little points. Identify the path you want the mark to follow, but beyond that, think about the task that mark is meant to accomplish. Ask yourself what this mark is meant to contribute to your drawing, whether another mark might already be doing that job, and ultimately, what you can do to make the mark to the best of your ability. Rushing in without thinking is probably the most common mistake people make, and it leads to marks that contribute nothing, repeated strokes, and just more chaos on the page. Remember above all, in this course we're not sketching, we're drawing purposefully and building things up one at a time. Okay, rotating the page. Yes, we can rotate the page. For now, throughout the entire course, I want you to rotate the page to ensure that you're always drawing in orientations that are more comfortable to you. Cool. No doing this kind of stuff. A better use of your time. Some may ask, but then how will I learn to make marks in every direction for situations where I can't rotate the page? This is something you'll learn automatically over time, and it is also something that you can focus on yourself later, outside the scope of this course. For now, however, if you sit here trying to grind away on this particular issue, it will only hold yourself back from moving ahead into learning more important and useful skills and concepts. Okay, that's a lot of yapping, but yes. Step 2, preparation. Now, when we move on to the next phase, everything involving planning is now over. Production line, he says in the video. Marching orders. We familiarize using the ghosting method with the movement we're gonna do to mark the line. Cool, cool. Yes, ghosting is the act of going through the motion of drawing a mark but without actually touching the page. You bring your pen to the first point, then move the pen to the end point with a smooth, confident motion, holding the pen a little above the surface of the page. Then you lift your pen up again and bring it to the start and repeat the process. This will help convey your arm the orders you determine in the planning step and will develop some short-term muscle memory. As you practice the use of this technique and more over days, weeks, months, etc., you'll find a comfortable number of times you should repeat this motion, where you get the most benefit and where your returns start to diminish. The focus is ultimately on getting comfortable and familiar. What these words really mean for you will come from experience. And then finally, the execution. What I followed the plans, I did my job, now it's lunchtime. So true. So true. You go, Mr. Lumpy Love. You deserve a pay raise. They don't let them nickel and dime you. Anyways, when one hits the last of the 3 stages, students are usually full of anxiety. Oh fuck, oh shit, I gotta make a line, shit, fuck, no, I fucked it up. Usually. And now it's time to actually go through the only step that produces a result, and that's anxiety that causes us to mess up. Instead, we once again have to go back to the production line mentality. The one executing the mark is not the one who planned, nor the one who prepared. They are a new version of ourselves who was given simple instructions and only needs to worry about one thing: executing the mark with confidence. No hesitation, no second guessing, no attempting to avoid a mistake. If you make the mark confidently but mess up on accuracy, then you didn't mess up. It's one of the earlier people up in the production line that messed up. Your job is to make a single smooth stroke. The second your pen touches the page, you need to accept that any opportunity to avoid a mistake has passed, and all you can do is commit to the motion and push through it. That's all there is to it. Okay, I get it. You gotta trust in the process and let the right side brain intuitive thing do its job and not second guess yourselves. This rings true for many things, like including sport. I was reading a book called The Inner Game of Tennis, and it's basically a book all about that. That it's like, if you tell someone, a beginner in tennis, like, here's how you hold the racket, this is how you spread your legs apart, this is how you shoot your shot, this is X and Y, they try to consciously do all the actions, and in doing that they overcorrect. So the instructor found it better to be like, okay, I'm gonna strike 10 balls, I'm gonna shoot, serve, sorry, is the correct terminology. I'm gonna serve 10 balls, don't think too much about that, and you just watch me. After you watch me carefully, just imitate what I do. And by not having the verbal monkey mind correcting your posture, just letting it happen. We love serving balls. We sure do, buddy. In the country club, I love serving balls in the morning in the country club. I serve 10 balls to warm up and then serve balls until afternoon. So the point that I was trying to make, sometimes more information is conveyed visually, and you kinda gotta trust that your nervous system, your muscles, they're gonna do their job, and you can't be overcorrecting or nitpicking every single little thing, because then you won't flow, right? And that's what this guy is saying, Mr. EU. Mr. Uncomfortable, I think. That's his username. Okay, the levels of this exercise. Also worth thinking out is the fact that there are several levels of success with this exercise. Level 1, a line is smooth and consistent without any visible wobbling, but doesn't quite pass A to B, due to not following the right trajectory. It is a straight shot, but it missed the mark. Line 2 is straight, smooth, and consistent, without any wobbling, and maintains a correct trajectory. It does, however, either fall short or overshoot one of the 2 points. Level 3 line is straight, smooth, and consistent without any wobbling, starts right at one point and ends exactly at another. Take it one level at a time, don't worry too much about the goals for level 3 if you're not nailing level 1 or 2. Overshooting, try this. Okay, we're gonna quickly go over the video. I think it's... yeah, I think it's a bit...
want to focus overseas.
We have a clear visual, right? We can see that like level 1 just misses the points entirely. Level 2 starts well but overshoots, and level 3 has a high degree of accuracy. Starts and ends where it needs to, and it's like confident and smooth. I don't think we need to see more than that. Okay, if we start to overshoot, a lot of students struggle with overshooting their lines, and as a result they tend to hesitate more as they reach the endpoint, causing them to undershoot and waver slightly as they slow their pen to a stop. Here's an alternative. Try lifting your pen off the page the second you hit the endpoint. Lifting it is much more reliable and responsive. It avoids the hesitation you get from slowing down. In general, overshooting isn't that big of a deal right now, you'll get better at it, and it's always better than hesitating. Still, this approach can solve 2 problems at once. Wobbly lines. If you're hesitating, yes. Okay, we're going over this a couple times. Call me the lineman with how many lines this intro drawing has. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We will get to the good stuff in like a couple of months, maybe. When we finish the semester, we'll be going quite strong. Believe it. Dare yo. My muscles are stupid. My muscles are very intelligent, Mr. Starch. They're very well educated. Okay, arcing, not drawing from the shoulder. Some people have a tendency, one approach I've heard to correct this is to consciously arc your lines slightly in the opposite direction. The expected result is that the conscious adjustment will compensate for the issue and it will result in a straight line that does not arc in either direction over time. Practical brain is... yes. Example homework. Basically, just a page with straight lines using the Costi method. Well then let's get started! Somalian 10,000 IQ muscles. Yes, they are wrinkly, like the brain. They have a high surface area, which they used to think. No, but honestly, I do. Believe in proprioception, like having a good communication with your body. Like maybe calling it like an intellect, since it's not thinking, right? It's more like feeling. But I do think the body does send a lot of very important signals. Ooh, that was pretty solid. That it's quite important to listen to, right? Like you can feel your emotions in your body. You can get a gut feeling if something's right or wrong. Doesn't mean it's infallible or anything, but like we're not a floating brain like in a jar or disembodied. Like the flesh suit knows its stuff, man. If suddenly you get agitated and it's like, what's going on? Like, I got a bad feeling. I wouldn't say... I think you would be remiss to not listening to it. Right? It's like thousands of years of evolution. So when you eat something that's spoiled, it gets expelled violently. That's intelligence in my books. I don't know where I was going, but I do think that, like, basically have a good relationship with your body. It serves you well. Like, the fella is working hard. It's doing its best to keep you alive. Okay, let's try a longer line. Well, that's not too bad. Oh sweet, we're going into 1960s wallpaper design. Yeah, I forgot to switch over. Well, I'd say that I'm generally at level 2. I do overshoot a little bit, but my lines, I'd say they're confident. See, because I trust in my body, it's what I'm telling ya. The muscles are well educated, they have a PhD. They're scientists. I paid schooling for them. I paid for their tuition. Ooh, that was perfect. That was a level 3 line right there. Right then and there. Okay, how much? Oh yeah, that's plenty of lines. I'm gonna do number 3 in here and do some more lines. So in ours you have to draw a perfect straight line. Apparently. At least confidently. I mean, I'm pretty sure it does help. I just draw an imperfect line, it works well. Yeah, I'm just following these scores, right? I did not study art. I'm studying it right now, I guess, but God knows I don't know shit about color or design, right? Well, shoot. I think my angle of attack with this pen, it's a bit steep. The mark wasn't quite like completely black like this one. Missed a bit. Okay, one more line. Okay, that was pretty good. And that'll be number 3. Be the crane. Mr. Miyagi in chat. Teaching us karate. Daniel-san, if you wanna do the crane, you gotta be the crane. Daniel-san, use the bikini wax method I taught you. Daniel-san, in the tournament, go for the pubes. Wax on, wax off. This is not gonna make any sense if nobody's watched Karate Kid. So somebody, it's a retro movie, but somebody's gonna somebody has to have seen it. Did we do the Mona Lisa yet? No, we just finished one exercise. Hey Doom, did you see Karate Kid? Not the Will Smith, Jaden Smith, sorry, one. The one with the original with Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi. Running, doing cardio. What is this heresy? Okay, drawing. Let's see. Do we have any more beautiful works of art? No, Lumpy is the last one. Okay, and that finishes that exercise. That was simple enough. And... Huh? Oh no. Okay, I gotta find my way back to the lines homework. There we go. Ooh, there is still quite a bit left for lesson 1. Okay. And 2 field pages of Ghosted Plains. I've been live for 3 hours and 20 minutes. And the amazing, outstanding, incredible work that I've done is 3 pages of lines. I mean, you start somewhere, right? And we're getting the basics. We're working on the basics. Also, I'd be remiss to not show Kebabman and for like the 17th time in a row. And his future wife, Plum, not from Yurusei Yatsuba. These, of course, are all gonna go into the Discord. What is my nationality? What do I look like, bro? I'm gonna tell you, but first, I gotta get your guess. It's a statistic I'm measuring. I've been told I look German, Russian. I've been told I sound Arab. Just venture your guess. Give me your best guess, and then I'll tell you. I've been told I'm Argentinian. So mine's Belarusian for sure. I was thinking Antarctic personally. Madagascar. Edobla. Slovakian. Well, from Madagascar. Julian! I gotta move it! What was the name? Julian Mort? Whatever. I'm getting distracted. No, I am not Slovakian. I am Mexican. Yes. I am a white bean. A white bean, my friend. Though, my nationality is Mexican, but quite obviously, my ascendance is Spanish, German. Okay, I'm gonna upload the pictures, and I think that's gonna be it for today. I'm having a ton of fun. Honestly, I could do this for quite a while, but I gotta sleep, have some dinner. I'm gonna take the pictures and upload it to a practice channel in the Discord. And we'll see each other next time to play some video games. Now I'm gonna sneak in some practice here and there. I found it really cool. And where is the chat? There is the chat. Have a good nightmare. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Use photo. Yes. And that one. Okay. For some reason I thought that was a Taxi Driver theme. Interesting. Now we're listening to Yuno, which is the girl who cries love at the end of the world, I think is the English translation. The girl who chants love at the bound of this world. They made a remake with like updated art. Nah, the real one is a PC-98 time travel. We're gonna see as a PC-98. It's a PC-98 game, so it's gonna be like horny, right? You can see it like there, and yeah, Google censors. But who cares about that? What I care about is the menus, bro. Look at this diegetic, these beautiful UI interfaces. A lost art, truly. I am immersed in the game because I have a menu that interfaces with the game itself. I find it beautiful. Truly, truly. Not to mention the inherent aestheticism of PC-98. Hey yo, what's that? Remakes and remasters are always illegitimate. PC-98 based. My people! I have a folder. I'm not sure if I can show it because it has some spicy artwork, but I'm gonna tell you the gigabytes. I have an image folder, as any seasoned internet user does. But I have a mega pack of PC-98 images. It's not heavy, it's 235. And this is my source of inspiration. And if I ever get like, I wanna see some aesthetics, I open up the huge PC-98 image collection. And I always find something new. Maybe I could upload it in Creative Inspo some choice images, right? In the Discord server. But anyways, my eyes, I am becoming Chinese. My eyes are closing because I'm sleepy. But thank you, I had a ton of fun. What is... There you go. This is the place I wanna be. Okay. Where's my camera? The stream over screen is supposed to have like my face, so like I'm chatting. Whatever. my camera is hidden. Whatever. Thank you. Bye. I'm gonna go to sleep. I had a ton of fun, and I'm thinking of doing more of this because this was surprisingly a very entertaining and very it was more productive than me alone stimming with my ADHD going like, I should be practicing, I should be practicing. It was super fun, and it was very encouraging to see people post their art, so thank you. Y'all sub this poor guy. Yes, I need the money, I need to feed my family of 4. I'm 45-year-old Slovakian man, married, divorced, married again. I got like I gotta pay, I got mouths to feed. Working on the mines. Let me get the ruler. Seriously, I do not know how to end this stream, but I gotta make this joke. I'm in the Slovakian mines every day, trying to feed my family. Clink, 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 getting the coal. Getting older. The wife is hungry, the child is hungry, the government is hungry. What is a Slovakian man to do but draw on YouTube for money and subscribers? So he's a 55-year-old Somalian father of 6 living entirely off rye bread in his size fishing shack. Yeah. Got the misfortune of having what was ergotism. There was mushrooms on the rye and I'm like convulsing. Barely survived. Can't wait until the next art stream. Thank you. Now, for real, no more bits, no more gags. Thank you. This was super fun for me. So yeah, thank you. I'll be seeing you on the Discord and on the next stream. Have a great night or day, whatever fits. See ya. Appreciate ya.